This page appears to be the front cover and an inside page of Dreamcast Magazine. The cover promotes a special feature on elemental gimmick gear, highlighting developer interviews and the latest E3 report. Games mentioned on the cover include Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2, Diamond Knight Kiji, Phantom Moon Knight, and Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. A special calendar featuring popular Dreamcast characters is also advertised. The adjacent page features a screenshot from Elemental Gimmick Gear, showing a futuristic city with the text, Tokyon Calendar Year 1453, Ancient Ruins, Runaway. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG, highlighting it as a full-fledged action RPG from Hudson. The advert announces the game's release date as May 27th and a standard price of 5,800 yen. It showcases various screenshots indicating different gameplay elements like exploration, combat, growth, destruction, and awakening. A contest is also promoted, where fan-made illustrations of EGG could become figures designed by Takayuki Takeya in collaboration with Dengeki Hobby Magazine. The game was never released outside of Japan and remained a Dreamcast exclusive title. This page showcases the Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG. In short, it's a striking visual with the game's logo prominently displayed alongside an image of the protagonist piloting their unique egg-shaped mecha. The artwork is very detailed and emphasizes the intricate design of the machine and the character within. It clearly highlights the game's distinctive visual style. You can also see the Dreamcast logo at the top corner, confirming it's a title for Sega's console. At the bottom, the Hudson Soft logo is present, indicating they're the developers behind this intriguing title. This page is the contents page for Dreamcast Magazine, issue dated June 4, 1999. It highlights key articles within the magazine. The contents include a super detailed, fastest report from E3 in Los Angeles, covering the latest Dreamcast information. Dreamcast special features are also listed, featuring a thorough introduction to anticipated titles including Dynamite Cop 2, Shenmue, Elemental Gimmick Gear, and Giant Graham All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan. Further articles cover Mabaroshi Tsukiyo and a feature on creating a professional baseball team. The Dreamcast Hot Information section details new game information including Climax Landers, ESPN Agents, which is Espionage Agents internationally, and New Japan Pro Wrestling 2 Konratsuden 4. Lastly, the Dreamcast Software Complete Guide section mentions thorough strategy guides for games like Sega 2, Redline Racer, Kita-E, White Illumination, and Blue Stinger. There's also a preview for Brave Firefighters, described as the third in a series of famous occupation games, where you can become a firefighter. This page is the contents index for Dreamcast Magazine. It promotes a special 1999 calendar and features on Soul Calibur and Virtual on Oratorio Tangram. The game index lists Dreamcast titles like Espionage NTS, Elemental Gimmick Gear, and Shenmue, and Sega Saturn games such as Derby Stallion and Friends, Youthful Shine. There is also an illustration of Elemental Gimmick Gear. This page is reporting live from E3, detailing Sega's announcements for the Dreamcast launch in North America. Bernard Stoller, president of Sega of America, unveiled their strategy for the region, promising 16 launch titles and aiming for 1.5 million console shipments by March of the following year. He highlighted strong pre-order numbers and confidence in the American market, contrasting with Japan's initial struggles with limited software. The report mentions announcements from third-party publishers like Acclaim, Midway, and Activision, indicating a strong software lineup. A new online game project called Frontier is revealed, promising a large-scale multiplayer experience. Sega is also partnering with Pepsi and MTV, investing heavily in marketing to achieve their sales goals of 1 million units by the end of fiscal year 2000. A scoop on the page announces that Crazy Taxi is confirmed for Dreamcast. The article describes it as a popular arcade game from AM3 Research, emphasizing its cool world and gameplay of delivering customers within a time limit. A screen display shows a selection of Dreamcast games including Sega Rally Championship 2, Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, NFL 2K, Ready 2 Rumble Boxing, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Crazy Taxi, Hydro Thunder, Shenmue, and Blitz 2000. The 1999 E3, held in San Francisco, showcased around 1,600 titles, with the upcoming Dreamcast launch being the primary focus. Sega of America's press conference announced the acquisition of Visual Concepts, who are developing NFL 2K and NBA 2K for Dreamcast. Sega of Europe is partnering with BT and ICL for European Internet access via local call charges. Sega executives expressed excitement, comparing the Dreamcast's reception to the Sega Genesis era. Approximately 11 launch titles are planned, with sales targets of 1 million units by year-end and 1.5 million by the fiscal year's end. Pre-orders are strong, exceeding 250,000. They anticipate success despite Sony's PS2 announcement and remain confident against Nintendo's Dolphin. The Shenmue demo was a major draw, and several VIPs and creators were in attendance. This article previews 8 upcoming Dreamcast games. Konami's Castlevania, an action game, is anticipated by the end of 1999. Sega and Visual Concepts are developing 2 sports titles. NFL 2000 *, year-end 1999, boasts impressive visuals, and NBA 2000 *, autumn 1999, aims for super-realistic basketball. Midway has 3 titles. Hydro Thunder, September 1999, a boat racing game with thrilling water effects. Ready to Rumble, September 1999, a fighting game, and Mortal Kombat Gold, September 1999, a fighting game with intense finishing moves. Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future from Sega and Appaloosa, promises enhanced graphics in its winter 1999 release. Activision's Vigilante 8, Second Offense, October 1999, is a racing shooting game. E3 showcased several upcoming Dreamcast games. F1 World Championship, video system, is a racing simulation, while Red Dog, Sega, is a chaotic tank game. Trickstyle, Acclaim, offers bodyboarding action, and Slave Zero, Accolade, provides robot combat. Sega's Armada is a near-complete action shooter, and Toy Commander controls toys in a house. MSR, Sega, offers realistic car racing. Ported titles include Alone in the Dark 4, UEFA Striker, and more. Acclaim's NFL Quarterback Club 2000 features realistic player faces. Ubisoft's Speed Devils is a racing game, while NFL Blitz 2000, Midway, offers arcade football action. Shenmue and Soul Calibur also garnered attention. The report concludes with a focus on peripheral devices, highlighting a microphone-equipped controller for games like Seaman. This page reports on Nintendo and Matsushita Electric forming a comprehensive business alliance to release Nintendo's next-generation game console at the end of 2000, which will use DVD as its media format. A press conference on May 12 revealed that the next console will have powerful specifications, including an IBM custom processor codenamed Gecko and graphics designed by ArtX. Memory will be high-speed DRAM, and the console will support communication features as standard, similar to the PlayStation 2. Panasonic will also release a DVD player that can play Nintendo games, blurring the lines between game consoles and home appliances. The article explains Nintendo's move from cartridges to DVD, emphasizing improved copy protection compared to CD-ROM. Images of the Famicom, Super Famicom, and Nintendo 64 are shown, leading to a question mark image representing the unannounced next-generation console, scheduled for release at the end of 2000. Release dates for past consoles are listed as July 1983 for Famicom, February 1990 for Super Famicom, and June 1996 for Nintendo 64. The page header indicates its Dreamcast Magazine weekly news landmark and includes calendar dates around May 21st and 27th. Upcoming Dreamcast news includes the introduction of the MIL-CD format, a multimedia CD featuring music, video, and internet connectivity. The first title using this format is Kita-E, White Illumination, PURESONGS and Pictures, releasing June 25th for 3,200 yen. A ticket giveaway for the Tokyo Character Show 1999 in July is also announced. Furthermore, a Dreamcast event at Yokohama Hakejima Paradise on May 22nd will feature game demos, including J-League Spectacle Soccer, The House of the Dead 2, and Get Bass 2, along with a home run derby. Finally, Konami and Microsoft are partnering to cross-license software, potentially bringing PC games like Combat Flight Simulator and Dreamcast titles like Popping Music to both platforms. This page highlights several gaming news and promotions. There's a Skeleton Beatmania Pocket Summer Campaign, where you can win a Skeleton Beatmania Pocket. Participating games include titles from the Bamani series like Pop Song Music and Dance Dance Revolution. An OVA for Tokimeki Memorial is announced, featuring a gathering of voice actors. The voice actors for key characters, such as Shiori Fujisaki, Minori Akisato, and Yuina Himu, including a voice actor from New York, gathered for a recording session. Kochikame is getting a musical stage play adaptation, scheduled for summer. It features popular actors like Lasale Ishii and Fuyuko Ishikawa as main characters. Performances will be held in various locations, including Tokyo and Osaka. Takara is giving away Gun Shooter Hazard liquid crystal shooting games to 5 lucky readers. This game, priced at 2,980 yen and released on May 20th, is a battery-operated handheld shooter with vibration features set in a city called Rival Zone. In July, Sega is holding a prize exhibition at their headquarters in Tokyo, showcasing prize goods. Shenmue t-shirts and prize goods are highlighted as must-see items available in July and August. The exhibition also features figures, keychains, and plush toys of popular characters like Rascal the Raccoon and Mootman, as well as characters from The Laughing Dog's Life TV show. New prize characters like Inu-chan are also introduced. This page highlights several music releases, primarily focusing on Sakura Wars releases. Upcoming releases include a single CD in June, an album in July, and the Song Show 3 Inches stage show in August. An interview with composer Kohei Tanaka discusses the Love is Eternal theme song for Crimson Orchid, emphasizing its orchestral and choral elements. Additionally, the page advertises various music CDs released in May and June 1999. These include Ami Takayama's Justice, Pony Canyon's First Rough Laugh, Victor Entertainment's My Life Super Soul Sonics, ZUNTATA's Ray Crisis Rayons de l'air, Feyre's Craving, Golden Delicious's Sweet Shop, Funhouse's Golden Delicious Hot Funhouse, and Saito Kazuyoshi. Each album offers a different genre, from anime themes to rock, psychedelics, and live performances. This page is a game preview for Brave Firefighters, a new arcade title developed by Sega AM1 for the Neo MI system, described as a masterpiece. The game puts players in the role of firefighters tackling blazes in a hotel. Players must aim their water accurately to extinguish flames while avoiding hazards like exploding debris. The preview highlights the game's immersive, fire extinguishing experience, emphasizing the thrill of being a firefighter. It mentions features such as 3D fire and water effects, and the possibility of 2-player simultaneous gameplay. The release is slated for June, and it is described as a 3D fire-extinguishing waterproof game. The page also briefly touches upon the concept of career games, highlighting Brave Firefighters and other Sega titles like Crazy Taxi and Jumbo Pilot, likely referring to Airline Pilots, part of Crazy Taxi 2. These are presented as games that allow players to experience different professions in a fun and engaging way. This page is showcasing the Job Change Game arcade machine, which is the third installment in a series by AM plus Naomi. The game is titled Brave Firefighters, and it is a firefighting simulator. The page details the realistic water hose controller used in the game, emphasizing its nozzle-like design and 2 types of water spray modes, concentrated and wide spray. The player can switch between these modes using a rotating switch located at the base of the controller. The article mentions that effectively using these spray types is key to efficient firefighting within the game. Further down the page, there is a section announcing Naomi Power, Shadow's 3 signals finally move. This section discusses a new racing simulator on the NAOMI arcade platform called F355 Challenge. It mentions that this is a racing game featuring the Ferrari F355 Challenge car, and that location tests have been conducted, with a Sega presentation scheduled for the coming Wednesday. The article also says that the next issue will have a scoop on this game. The text promotes anticipation for the game's release and encourages readers to look forward to the next issue for more details. The Dreamcast software sales ranking top 10 is as follows. 1. The House of the Dead. 2. Light Gun Shooter. 2. Get Bass, Fishing Game. 3. Blue Stinger, Adventure Action. 4. Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes vs. Fighting. 5. Sega Rally 2, Racing. 6. Power Stone vs. Fighting Action. 7. Sonic Adventure, Action. 8. Psychic Force 2012 versus Fighting Action. 9. Poppin' Music.
Music. 10.
Aerodancing, featuring Blue Impulse, flight simulation.
The games span multiple genres, including shooting, fishing, adventure, fighting, racing, music, and flight simulation. Several games, like Time Psychic Force 2012 * and * Sega Rally 2, have new or upcoming versions. Some games, such as Time Sonic Adventure, continue to have thriving online communities.
The Dreamcast Anticipated Titles Top 30 ranking features Shenmue at number 1, showcasing its immersive world and emotional storytelling. Grandia 2 follows at number 2, promising new information and hinting at a release. Soul Calibur secures the 3rd spot, highlighting its character roster. Biohazard Code Veronica. Resident Evil Code Veronica is featured as a weekly pickup at number 4, mentioning smooth development. The ranking also includes notable titles like SNK vs. Capcom, Cyber Troopers Virtual On, Seaman, and the King of Fighters Dream Match 1999. Giant Graham 2, at number 28, rounds out some of the wrestling games on the list. Elemental Gimmick Gear falls just outside the top 30. This page showcases 2 different game rankings. The top section presents the Transfer Wish Software Ranking Top 20, which lists games that readers hoped would be ported to the Dreamcast. The top 3 games were Rent a Hero, Sakura Wars Series, and Virtua Striker 2 Ver 99. Other notable games in the top 20 included Dead or Alive 2, Super Robot Wars Series, Crazy Taxi, Burning Rangers, and Metal Gear Solid. A small text section mentions announcements at overseas E3 and upcoming Sega announcements regarding Naomi arcade board games like Crazy Taxi. The bottom section displays the Video Game Income Ranking Top 15, which ranks arcade games by income. Virtua Striker 2 Ver 99 took the top spot, followed by Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram Virtue 5.4. Other games in the top 15 included Street Fighter 03, The House of the Dead 2, Tekken 3, Spike Out, The King of Fighters 98, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Soul Calibur, and Zombie Revenge. Screenshots are shown for Virtua Striker 2 Ver 99, depicting in-game soccer action, and Street Fighter 2I Third Strike, showing a battle scene. A text box highlights Brave Firefighters as an upcoming title, describing it as a firefighting action game with realistic fire and smoke effects, and mentions a nozzle-type controller for an immersive experience. Another text box questions, Dreamcast version? Discussing the popularity of Virtual On Oratorio Tangram Ver 5.4 in arcades and hints at a possible Dreamcast version being showcased soon. This page lists upcoming Dreamcast software and hardware releases, categorized by date and unannounced periods like this summer, end of 1999, within 1999, and release date undecided. The software section includes titles released in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 1999, and unannounced dates. Some notable titles mentioned are Dynamite Deca 2, Die Hard Arcade 2, published by Sega, an action game. Elemental Gimmick Gear, published by Hudson Soft, an action RPG. Giant Graham. All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan, published by Sega, a wrestling game. Biohazard Code Veronica. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Shenmue Chapter 2. Shenmue 2, as Shenmue Second Chapter, tentative. Rayman 2 Carrier, a shooting adventure game by Jaleco.
Geist Force, Geist Crusher. Dino Shokutaku 2, D2. Berserk, Monster Breed. Undercover AD2025K. Little Dream, Dark Eyes, tentative. SD Hiryu, no Ken Twin. Fists of Fury X, SNK vs. Capcom. Frame Gride, from Software. Cool Borders DC, tentative. The hardware section lists peripherals, including Neo Geo Pocket / Dreamcast connection cable by SNK. Zip Drive, tentative, by Sega. Fishing controller, by Sega. Micro Device, tentative, by Sega. The page uses genre abbreviations, like ACT for action, RPG for role-playing game, SHT for shooting,
ADV for adventure, SLG for simulation, SPT for sports, and RAC for racing. Compatibility information is also noted using abbreviations like VM for visual memory and keyboard. Prices are listed in Japanese yen. This page from Dreamcast Magazine showcases the Reader's Race, which is a ranking of Dreamcast games voted on by readers. The top-ranked game is Segaga, followed by Sonic Adventure and Headhunter. Other highly rated games include Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes, Poppin' Music, and Blue Stinger. There are also new arrival single-horse introduction sections reviewing newly released software. One review is for Redline Racer, praising its exhilarating speed and ease of play, though noting some graphical shortcomings and a feeling of incompleteness. Another review covers the ASC2 Mission Stick, a dedicated controller for flight games, highlighting its usability and design but questioning its high price. Finally, there's a review for Mosler Dreamcast, seemingly a racing game focused on Mosler cars, with comments on its realistic simulation aspects and potential for improvement. The Oz Expression Dreamcast Summary section discusses the current state of Dreamcast games, mentioning reader feedback and anticipation for upcoming new releases. It also mentions a software review column for reader opinions and hints at future game announcements. This page is packed with Dreamcast excitement. At the top, it highlights Dynamite Cop and EGG as anticipated games in the rankings, and features a review for House of the Dead 2, noting its high average score but slightly lower personal score. There's a table ranking Dreamcast peripherals by reader score, showing the Puru Puru Pack, Rumble Pack, at the top, followed by the Mission Stick and VGA box. Player feedback on Dreamcast games is also featured, with comments about the Rumble Pack and Chaos Garden. The magazine is hyping up the season for new game releases and is running a reader survey where you can predict the ranking of The King of Fighters Dream Match 1999. They are also recruiting more participants for their reader race and giving away an arcade stick and visual memory as a weekly special prize. Game reviews include Morita's Strongest Shogi, praised for its authentic shogi experience, and Weeby Mystery Prophecy Revealing Cat, an adventure game where players use the internet within the Dreamcast. Morita's Strongest Reversi is also reviewed, described as simple but with strong AI and surprisingly VGA compatible, despite its low price. This page showcases Dreamcast game reviews from a magazine, highlighting two games, Dynamite Datika 2 and Elemental Gimmick Gear, both scheduled for release on May 27th. Dynamite Decay 2, known internationally as Die Hard Arcade 2 or Dynamite Cop, is an action game receiving a score of 8.0. The review praises its power-up and calls it a return to the origins of action games, noting its satisfying action. Elemental Gimmick Gear, an action RPG, earns a score of 8.33. Reviewers describe it as a substantial game with solid action RPG elements and a refined quality. The reviews point out its engaging gameplay and satisfying RPG mechanics. The page also introduces the reviewers, Aoyama Yoko, Tetsu, Denpa Chunen, and REI, each providing their unique perspectives on the games. Aoyama Yoko focuses on the user's perspective, Tetsu appreciates compact and well-made games, Denpa Chunen looks for entertaining elements, and REI focuses on games that can be enjoyed for extended periods. This page is a special report for Dynamite Datika 2, known internationally as Dynamite Cop, for the Sega Dreamcast. It announces the imminent release of the game, stating it will be available next week on May 27, 1999, priced at 5,800 yen, and is a non-dramatic action game for 12 players. The page highlights several features of the game. One section is about searching for items using the VM, visual memory sound, suggesting a minigame or feature where players use the Dreamcast VM to find hidden items by listening for audio cues. Another section details the Tony Painter's Illustration Gallery, which contains over 100 illustrations obtainable within the game. These illustrations are by the artist Tony, known for his work in Comic Zone and character designs. The page encourages players to find all the illustrations. There's also a section announcing the completion of the options screen, allowing players to adjust sound volume, stereo output, enemy attack frequency, and VM sound on/off. Players can also transfer data from the demo version to the full game. Finally, The page mentions an online comic related to Dynamite Deca 2, available on the game's homepage, which can be read using directional buttons to navigate panels, featuring characters like Bruno, Jean, and Eddie. The zoomed-in section from this comic is also featured, showing a scene with dialogue about a hostage situation and requesting the player to resolve it. This page details Dynamite Cop, highlighting stages and extra game modes. Mission 2 is easier than others, while Stage 3 involves timed bombs. Previous issues covered Stages 1, boat infiltration, strong enemies, and 2, ship interiors with cook bosses and sushi weapons. Key scenes include machine gun warnings, freezer encounters with sharkmen, and missile launcher threats. The Kraken, a giant octopus, serves as a boss. 2 extra game modes are presented. Versus Battle is a new online one-on-one 3D fighting game with simple controls. Trunk Laser Gun is a bonus, a port of a classic arcade game where players use a tranquilizer gun to put animals to sleep. This page is dedicated to Dynamite Cop, the international version of Dynamite Deca 2. It highlights various gameplay aspects and stages. The page introduces a bonus stage called Recovery Time, where players must dodge falling logs to collect life recovery items. Stage 4, Escape, focuses on catching the terrorist boss, Wolf Hongo, as the ship is sinking. Scene 1 is about using slot machines in the casino stage, where hitting 777 grants recovery items. Scene 2 advises players to obtain a machine gun and throw deck chairs for small life recovery items. Scene 3 questions whether fighting enemies equipped with rods in both hands is a useless fight if no good items are gained. Scene 4 instructs players to throw arcade cabinets in the Blast City stage, noting that they are explosive weapons. The page introduces the boss, Pedro Sabu, describing him as a skilled fighter using combos and quick attacks, recommending players to use rising attacks to counter him. The Extra Game 3 section details a 100-man Kumite mode, where players must defeat 100 enemies as quickly as possible. The Extra Game 2-3 section showcases 3 stages available for extra game modes: the Bridge, Restaurant, and Kitchen, each with different layouts and item placements, suggesting players choose stages suitable for their playstyle. Dreamcast Magazine's special report previews Shenmue Chapter 1 Yokosuka, currently 50% complete. The game stars Ryo Hazuki, portrayed by Masaya Matsukaze, a composed and respectful 18-year-old student from Yokosuka, raised in a strict environment. The game emphasizes Ryo's values of respect, while also showing his headstrong side. Shenmue Chapter 1 is slated for release August 5th, described as free. Shenmue Chapter 2 is tentatively planned for this winter, also free. Voice recording and motion capture are ongoing and expected to conclude by the end of May. The report reveals the Hazuki residence's CG images, including the main house and dojo. Ryo Hazuki's profile includes his height, 176 centimeters, and weight, 75 kilograms. This page focuses on an interview with Masaya Matsukaze, the voice actor for Ryo Hazuki in Shenmue. The main title highlights Shenmue Chapter 1 Yokosuka and features Matsukaze discussing the game. Matsukaze talks about taking on Yu Suzuki's message and wanting to deliver it to children. He mentions the game being in development for over a year and a half and his desire to play the role well. He discusses the volume of the game being substantial, emphasizing that it is not a short experience. In another section, Matsukaze discusses recording scenes using motion capture. He explains the process of capturing human movements to create realistic character animations in Shenmue. He describes the effort and trial and error involved in recording various actions, such as opening doors and riding bikes, emphasizing the complexity of making the motion capture appear seamless and natural in the game. Screenshots on the page depict scenes from Shenmue, including a game center and a bike riding sequence. The page also features a present section with a signed illustration card by Matsukaze, available for 2 lucky readers who apply by mail. This page is a preview for the upcoming Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG. It's hyped as being just 1 week away from release, with a final gameplay check being performed. The article teases the story, which involves rescuing a mother planet and investigating the cause of the Fanya rampage. Setting the adventure in a place called Tokyon, you play as Leon, embarking on a new adventure piloting giant weapons in what's described as intense battles. The game is an action RPG published by Hudson and is priced at 5,800 yen, with a release date of May 27th. The article emphasizes that the game is 100% complete and features the song Steel Memory by Birthday. This page focuses on the upcoming Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG, highlighting its moon-based adventure stage that ventures into space and introduces giant weapons. The screenshots showcase in-game scenes, hinting at the gameplay and visual style. The page includes an interview with the game's director, Takeo Ito, who discusses the game's development and aims. He mentions that they focused on detailed elements in planning and development. He hopes players will play it multiple times to discover new things beyond just clearing it once, such as townspeople reactions and trap clearing methods. He emphasizes that player feedback will influence future development. Mr. Ito also mentions that the game features a serious story and that they struggled with balance adjustments to ensure engaging gameplay. He hopes players will enjoy the game and that it will be a worthwhile experience. He also mentions that the magnificent mecha designs are also his responsibility. This page previews Elemental Gimmick Gear, EGG, focusing on Leon's journey after clearing the fog tower and battling bandits, as he now sets his sights on the moon. The article highlights key locations like the Touch Road, a grotesque path of giant tentacles Leon must navigate to reach the moon's inlet. The Touch Road section details how Leon acquires a new item to explore deeper areas and find a westward route, leading him through this unsettling, tentacle-filled environment. The moon's inlet is described as a point connecting to a vast sea, containing a buried giant robot head linked to Leon's past and an underwater plant entrance, currently without power. To restore power, Leon must travel to the moon. The article also reveals the fog tower's original purpose, a rocket launch site. Images show the rocket's powerful launch, which the Fanya enemies attempt to disrupt. This dramatic launch is presented with cinematic intensity. Finally, an interview with map designer Kubo discusses the intricate map design of EGG World. He emphasizes the detailed and immersive nature of the maps, the challenges of bug fixing during development, particularly with players getting stuck, and the intention to make exploration rewarding with hidden hints throughout the maps. Kubo believes the maps are a highlight of the game and encourages players to thoroughly explore them all. This page delves into the adventure of Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG WRLD. Leon, having restored power to the elevator, descends into a vast plant facility beneath the ocean in Tokyon. This location is described as more complex than previous areas, filled with traps and strong enemies. It's hinted that Leon seeks someone within the deepest part of the plant, someone from his past memories, who holds answers about Fanya and Leon himself. After overcoming the underwater plant, Leon then embarks on a journey into space, in a rocket hidden beneath Tokyon since ancient times. His destination is a lunar colony, unaware that a formidable enemy awaits him there, and fuel is limited for a one-way trip. The game utilizes 2D full illustration maps, 2D characters, polygon bosses, and CG movies. The interview with Okamoto Toshiro, who handles movie direction and character design supervision, highlights the team's dedication to the game's visual presentation, aiming for impactful cinematic scenes and engaging gameplay. He mentions the inclusion of numerous CG movies, emphasizing their quality, and also points out the diverse range of enemies, including standard fodder characters and more unique metamo types. He suggests players look forward to experiencing the game's movies, especially the scenes in Fanya and rocket launch sequence. The article concludes by mentioning that the game's release is approaching, with the team, including director Mizuno Kenji, pouring their hearts into its development, promising a different experience from previous Hudson games. This page is a Dreamcast special report focusing on the game Elemental Gimmick Gear, EGG. The article highlights the Metal Golem, described as a formidable enemy encountered in the expansive battlefields of Metal Heaven. It's armored and slow-moving but possesses diverse and powerful attacks for both close and long-range combat. Players are advised to analyze enemy attacks and exploit openings to defeat it. The page also features an interview with Masatoshi Sugilin, the main programmer from EGG WORLD, the development team. Sugilin discusses the game's production, mentioning challenges in bringing the 2D world to 3D on the Dreamcast hardware, and the team's efforts to optimize performance and memory usage. He emphasizes the game is designed to be accessible and enjoyable for a wide range of players, from beginners to hardcore gamers. Sugilin also mentions the game's balance, aiming for a challenging but not overly simplistic experience, and encourages players to explore the game's secrets and enjoy new discoveries. The article briefly mentions the tantrum, which seems to be related to the erratic and unpredictable movements of enemies like the Metal Golem during combat. This page is a preview of the game Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG. It highlights the battles against giant enemies called armor dresses in both lunar and terrestrial environments. The preview describes lunar battles as being similar to shooting games, while ground combat requires players to find weaknesses in the powerful armor dresses by observing the terrain. The page features developer comments from Yasuhiro Kosaka, who discusses the game development philosophy centered around creating numerous engaging and enjoyable highlights and play points for players, emphasizing careful map design, impressive 3D boss animations, and continuous refinement of game content right up to the master update deadline to ensure a balanced and long-lasting gaming experience. This page is a special pre-release feature from Dreamcast Magazine, focusing on the upcoming game Elemental Gimmick Gear, also known as EGG, Lost Memory in the Steel. The page delves into the origin of the game's main character and world. In an interview, Hiroaki Hara explains that the idea for EGG came about 6 years prior, when he saw an egg-shaped object and learned it was created by someone on his staff. The name EGG was chosen due to its egg-like appearance and desire for originality. He mentions that the game is planned as an RPG. The full title, Elemental Gimmick Gear, was chosen to convey originality, incorporating themes of manipulation, human spirit, and natural power. Hara believes that although EGG might seem simple at first, it combines coolness and cuteness, hoping fans will appreciate this design. Another interview section features Hideki Watanabe, introduced as the base designer responsible for the concept model of EGG, in a section titled EGG, Nice to Meet You. The page also outlines the history of Tokyon, the game's world, explaining that it is deeply intertwined with the development of EGG.
It is described as an ancient artifact discovered about a century ago, which, through research, became integrated into daily life in Tokyon as a common tool and means of transportation, creating a realistic and engaging game world.
This page is dedicated to Elemental Gimmick Gear, or EGG, which is announced as a game that will be released soon and is described as a steel memory renewal. It introduces the concept of EGG as a vehicle or machine that people in the game world ride. The page details that there are 7 types of EGG riders, each with different motivations, such as fighting for their country, pursuing their curiosity, or following their chosen path. The page also announces an "Oh, My EGG contest," where readers can design their own EGG models. Selected designs will be made into 3D models by professional modelers and presented to the designers as prizes. The contest is related to the EGG Generation Chronicle Corner in Dengeki Hobby Magazine. The deadline for entries is the end of July, and the entry details require using a postcard included with the Dreamcast game EGG being released on May 27. Entries should include a drawing of an original EGG design with its name and pilot name. The best entries will be judged by Takeya Takashi and turned into models. This page is dedicated to Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan, a wrestling game coming to Dreamcast days. It's highlighted as a special report and boasts that the strongest tag ignites again on the DC. The game, published by Sega and priced at 5,800 yen, is set for release on June 17th and supports 1 to 4 players in versus mode. It's based on the arcade version running on the NAOMI board and has connectivity with the Giant Channel original visual memory, which was available as a pre-order bonus from May 20th. The article emphasizes that the release is imminent, and the Dreamcast version is expected to surpass even the arcade version in quality. A key feature pointed out is the opening movie, which is said to be a major highlight showcasing wrestler introductions and signature moves. The game utilizes smooth 3D polygon graphics. Screenshots show in-game action, wrestler stats panels, and the opening movie scenes, giving a glimpse into the wrestler roster and visual style of the game. The next page focuses on the wrestling game Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan. This game boasts a roster of 14 wrestlers, an increase from the previous title, and includes wrestler Haas from the beginning. All wrestlers are presented with their real names, and new characters are joining the roster. Popular wrestlers familiar from TV such as Misawa and Kawada are featured, and wrestlers like Vader and the All Japan Hawkfield are available from the start. The page details the control system, explaining moves like attack, grab, throw, and rope escape, which are executed using button combinations and directional inputs. A key feature highlighted is that damage taken by wrestlers is displayed on the Visual Memory Unit, VMU. Additionally, there's information about a Giant Channel original VM that can be obtained, suggesting some form of promotional content or unlockable related to the game and the VMU. This page is all about the wrestling game Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 on Dreamcast. The game features an arcade mode where you face 7 opponents, with the difficulty set to be like the arcade version. It mentions that the opponent patterns are not fixed, adding to the challenge. The ranking table shows high scores achieved, and the page highlights that Giant Baba is the top wrestler in the game, acting as the final boss in the CPU battles. The article emphasizes the realistic motion capture used to bring the wrestlers to life, mentioning signature moves of Giant Baba, such as the 16-mon kick and chop attacks. There's a gameplay tips section focusing on mastering the timing for reversals. Finally, the page points out the improvements from the previous Saturn version, mainly focusing on enhanced graphics, larger character models, smoother polygon animation, and improved camera work in the Dreamcast version. Screenshots are used to compare the visual differences between the Saturn and Dreamcast releases. This page is about the game Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2, in Nippon Budokan. It highlights the game's features in VS mode and the ability to use VM characters, which are characters created in the training mode. The page emphasizes that up to 4 players can play simultaneously in tag team matches, a new addition to this version of the game. It points out that tag team moves and Kuten plays are possible and easy to execute if there are 34 wrestlers in the ring. The page also contrasts this game with its predecessor, noting that tag team matches are now a key feature, and discusses command inputs for special moves, advising players to pay attention to the on-screen prompts during matches to learn techniques. Screenshots showcase in-game wrestling action, character selection screens, and tag team moves. This page showcases the detailed visuals and robust systems of a wrestling game, maintaining a smooth 60 frames per second even in tag team matches. It highlights features like consciousness-fading submission holds, impactful afterimages during techniques compared to those in Virtua Fighter 3, dynamic camera angles to enhance the action, and a consistent reversal system. Screenshots depict gameplay, focusing on wrestler models and move animations. The page features wrestlers such as S. Hansen, Kenta Kobashi, Mitsuharu Misawa, Toshiaki Kawada, and G. Albright, previewing the game likely to be Giant Graham 2000, which was released only in Japan for the Dreamcast. One image caption mentions, "Western Lariat explodes." The next page focuses on the wrestling game Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2, highlighting its tense gameplay created by the injury system. When wrestlers receive significant damage to areas like joints, necks, or faces, damage accumulates, and a danger mark appears. Focusing attacks on the same damaged body parts can lead to a referee stop when a wrestler's body is 100% damaged in 3 locations. The game features an appeal or taunt system, which is purely for showmanship and doesn't directly damage opponents, but is good for hyping up the crowd. Players can also endure and repel opponents' attacks by inputting lever and button combinations when receiving a move, reducing damage taken and creating counter opportunities, though timing is crucial. The page explains the combo system starting from striking attacks, allowing for various combinations by inputting commands and using the A, grab button. Powerful combinations also exist from grapples and throws, with throws leading into further throw combos. These grapple combos are more timing sensitive. Finally, the page touches upon the fire gauge, which appears around a wrestler's name during heated matches. It's speculated to be linked to crowd excitement, but its exact function isn't confirmed. Landing moves increases the fire gauge, while taking damage can decrease it. This page highlights the Dreamcast game Maboroshi Tsukiyo, a novel-style adventure game focused on a mysterious and bittersweet love story set during the protagonist's last high school summer vacation. The protagonist is a carefree third-year high school student enjoying his summer when he encounters a girl who claims he is her long-awaited lover. Adding to the confusion, a female junior student also appears, setting the stage for an unusual love story. The article showcases beautiful event scenes and glimpses into the protagonist's daily life. It emphasizes the game's deep story, crafted by 3 scenario writers, and the impressive 16 million colors possible on the Dreamcast. Features like VM compatibility and mini-character events are also mentioned as enjoyable additions. Screenshots include dialogue snippets and a scene featuring a character named Yumizuki Senpai, who is described as not looking like she belongs to the Aikido club. Maboroshi Tsukiyo from Sims is advertised for release in the summer, priced at 5,800 yen, and is compatible with VGA VM and the Puru Puru Pack, Rumble Pack. This page introduces the gameplay mechanics of a Dreamcast dating simulation game where the protagonist interacts with heroines. It outlines a typical in-game day in 3 steps. Step 1 shows the protagonist's daily routine across various times like morning, school, after school, and at home. Step 2 focuses on dialogue choices emphasizing their impact on relationships with the game's 9 heroines. It gives an example conversation with a character named Riho, illustrating how different dialogue options can affect her reaction. Step 3 explains location movement using commands. It lists various locations the player can visit, such as the school buildings, special classroom, dojo, shopping street, flower shop called Miu, the park, and the protagonist's home. These locations are selectable, and visiting them can trigger events and encounters with characters, potentially leading to romantic storylines. Screenshots accompany each step, showing in-game scenes and characters. This page introduces characters from the Dreamcast game Sentimental Graffiti 2. It features Asagiri Ayame, described as a mysterious and beautiful girl in a kimono whom the protagonist has been waiting 70 years to meet. She appears in a park, and the protagonist believes she is the lover he has been waiting for. She seems to resemble his late grandfather. Next is Kogiri Minami, described as an unexpected character similar to Ayame, with a strong personality. She is a first-year high school student at Tsukiya Nogami High School, unlike the gentle Ayame. She is said to have a complex and is weak to being relied upon. She is confident in her appearance. Meeting the protagonist triggers a strange experience. Finally, Sakagami Hazuki is introduced as a popular girl among female students and a member of the high school's cheerleading squad. She has a refreshing and tomboyish personality that is attractive to female students. The protagonist and Hazuki are childhood friends, but it is hinted that her feelings might change during the summer. Sakagami Miyuki is also mentioned. She seems to be related to science experiments and chemistry. She is described as someone who is quiet and doesn't express emotions much, but her smile is something special. The page is titled, "Now, Only Visible This Summer," which is a tagline related to the game's theme. It highlights the summer experiences and relationships in Sentimental Graffiti 2. Maboroshi Tsukiyo features a cast including flower shop owner Sasakawa Sanae, a friendly 22-year-old with a playful side, Sasakawa Asami, Sanae's energetic 5th-grade sister, and Shimakai Ryo, the quiet childhood friend, are also key characters. Ryo, independent and interested in acting, cares for the main character. Finally, Gosho Kaguya, a mysterious high school transfer student and spirit medium, possesses strong spiritual abilities and a high opinion of herself. The game explores summer memories and mysteries surrounding Ayame, with supporting characters like classmates and Ryo's mother. The Tsukiyo no Star Place appears to be a setting for musical performances, highlighting Kaguya's talent. This page is a special report focused on the Dreamcast game Pro Yaku Team Otsukuru, which translates to Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. It's highlighted as the second installment in the management strategy series, and the headline shouts, "Let's get rich." This sports development simulation game is scheduled for release on July 15th by Sega, priced at 5,800 yen, and supports one player, VGA box, and keyboard. The page details the game's enhanced goods and item development system, building upon the Saturn version. In the Dreamcast release, players can develop both goods to be sold in stores and items that assist players during gameplay. A new element introduced is assigning development to various specialized traders. The page showcases 3 vendors: Sakura Shinkichi, Watanabe Planning, and D Plannings. Sakura Shinkichi confidently declares he'll create goods that are hard to come by, boasting his skills. Watanabe Planning emphasizes customer satisfaction and claims they won't disappoint. D Planning highlights their high-tech approach and ability to create unique products using advanced technology. Screenshots illustrate the game interface for selecting a vendor and setting the development budget and time frame, ranging from 1 to 6 months, with costs from 5 million to 100 million yen. The text advises players to understand vendor characteristics and assign development accordingly, starting by experimenting with different vendors. This page highlights the Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team game, showcasing features related to merchandise and items for your team. The page is divided into sections attributed to different development teams: Sakura Shinkichi, Watanabe Planning, and Law Planning, each likely responsible for different aspects of the game's development. The goods section explains that merchandise like stadium jumpers, megaphones, mug cups, fans, and mousepads can be developed and sold in stores to boost team popularity and sales. The item section details beneficial items for the team, such as a ground maintenance vehicle to improve the field, a red bat to enhance batting power, a first aid kit for injury prevention, a laptop for opponent analysis, and a lucky cat to attract customers. Each item description elaborates on its in-game function and benefit to the team. This page is focused on a Dreamcast baseball management game, highlighting the side business reinforcement strategy to expand your company. It poses the question of whether you are effectively managing 8 different types of facilities. The page details these facilities, which can be built to generate income for your baseball team, even outside of game days. These side businesses include a good shop for merchandise sales, a theme park to attract families, a parking lot for game attendees, a restaurant for post-game meals with bonus income on home game days, a station adjacent to the stadium which also offers bonus income during home games, a department store for shopping and potential victory sales, a hotel providing steady monthly income, and finally an airport, described as a prestigious and costly facility that even adds a visual spectacle of airplanes flying over the stadium. The text emphasizes that constructing all these facilities is the ultimate goal, and also mentions that in times of financial difficulty, selling these side businesses can be a way to recover. It notes that building these facilities adds depth and visual interest to the game world, making it feel more immersive as you can see them from the stadium. This page is showcasing a quiz called Player Name Guessing Quiz Round 4, which is asking, do you know who they are? It features caricatures of 12 baseball players for readers to guess. The page also has images that appear to be related to a game where you build a theme park, showing the construction process and the completed park, mentioning rewards and satisfaction upon completion. Additionally, there's an introduction to a character named Riko Shirai, described as a gentle and considerate 28-year-old secretary from Akita Prefecture, who enjoys walking and observing nature. The answers to the baseball player quiz are provided at the bottom of the page, listing each player's name and the team they belong to. The overall theme of the page seems to revolve around baseball and game-related content, possibly connected to a game where you manage or build a baseball team and related facilities. The heading at the top right says, "Let's make a professional baseball team." This page introduces Climax Landers, an RPG for the Dreamcast. The page highlights untouchable characters, featuring stylized character art of what seem to be parodies of film characters, with names like Howard, Miss Cherry, and Eliza. The page then focuses on Climax Landers, with a game logo and central image, stating it is an RPG scheduled for release on July 15th, priced at 5,800 yen. It supports VM, VGA Box, and Puru Puru Pack, Rumble Pack. A developer message mentions the release date is delayed, apologizes, and explains that RPG balance is crucial. They are currently working hard to adjust it, and a minigame campaign is ongoing. They ask users to get the minigame and wait a little longer. A delay sign indicates the game's postponement by about a month. The downtown piece evokes 1930s Prohibition-era Chicago, with rundown buildings and a mosaic-like world. The setting centers on shops and detective agencies, creating a hard-boiled atmosphere. The fancy shop, run by Eliza, allows players to purchase interior decorations, while the detective agency houses Miss Cherry and Detective Howard, featuring a rotating ceiling fan. 4 characters are introduced. Gang Tom, mistaken for someone else and linked to a gang. Big Boss, leader of the Bokar Face Gang, searching for a hideout. Sam, Big Boss's loyal assistant. And Jack, a heavy alcoholic. The segment hints at a gangster-themed game, possibly a preview for Heavy Metal Geomatrix, with dialogue suggesting a central mystery involving Howard's gang joke. This page showcases a preview of the Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear, Egg G. The page highlights the game's structure, which is based around interconnected pieces or zones, and presents a gameplate piece composition diagram showing 7 distinct areas: Ruluin Square, Clock Tower Piece, Battlefield Forest Piece, Central, Z33 Colony, Fire Mountain, and Neumann. The preview details 3 of these pieces. Ruluin Square Piece is described as a central hub, acting as a peaceful town where players can prepare for their adventure and access a shop located in the protagonist's Sword's house. The Clock Tower Piece is introduced as a training area and an early dungeon location. Battlefield Forest Piece is depicted as a more dangerous zone inhabited by beastmen and is the home of the character Lao. Character dialogues are included from Sword and Lao, giving insights into the game world. Sword hints at the variety of locations, including the colorful Neumann area, while Lao discusses the Battlefield Forest Piece and advises caution. The screenshots provided show the distinct visual style of Elemental Gimmick Gear and the different environments players will explore. The text previews several game areas or pieces. The central piece is an aerial garden, connected to a clock tower dungeon via a shared mark. The Z-33 colony piece features clashing scientific and spiritual beliefs, and likely contains a dungeon. The Fire Mountain piece, a mosaic world element, includes a dungeon for treasure hunters. The Noiseman piece is a colorful, fantastical world with a hidden realistic side. Dungeons include the Clock Tower, Practice, Fire Mountain, First Dungeon, and Phantom Zone, Forest. The text questions if all pieces will have dungeons, suggesting the Z-33 colony and realistic areas like Downtown and Fujimi Town are likely candidates. The Clock Tower is designed for weak enemies, while Fire Mountain may be too difficult. The game, featuring dungeon gameplay with health bars, traps, and enemies, is set for a July 15th release. This page previews Espion Agents, a simulation game for Dreamcast where you play as the boss of a spy organization. The game is set in a parallel site simulation and focuses on spy activities. You'll be directing agents to carry out missions, like infiltrating the Michelle Fowler Commemorative Art Museum to steal art. The article highlights the strategic element of giving detailed instructions to your team of 4 agents, including characters like Saunders, Ling, and Archangel, and emphasizes the real-time individual actions of the agents displayed across 4 screens. The game is described as being 50% complete, slated for a September release by NEC Home Electronics, and priced at 5,800 yen. The developer suggests that while it's fun to meticulously direct agents, you can also just watch and enjoy the unfolding events. The game aims to create a tense atmosphere typical of spy activities. The next page appears to be a preview of a Dreamcast game focused on a mission walkthrough, showcasing a gameplay section called Storm Mission. It details a scenario involving characters Archangel, Saunders, and Ling. The mission involves infiltrating an office, with Archangel performing hacking using his skills to extract data from a computer. After successfully hacking the office computer, the mission progresses to the security system. The team moves to the control room on the 2nd floor to disable the security. The walkthrough highlights a gameplay moment where Saunders fails to disable the alarm system, causing it to trigger. The game emphasizes the need to handle such situations calmly. Ling is shown to be proficient in lockpicking and is relied upon to open a locked door. The team then proceeds to subdue security guards and take control of the control room. The preview also introduces a character named Helmut Monstein, who seems to be involved in the mission's storyline and communicates with the team during the operation. The overall gameplay seems to involve stealth, hacking, puzzle solving, and combat against security personnel, all within a mission-based structure. The preview emphasizes strategic gameplay and character roles in achieving mission objectives. This page is showcasing the upcoming Dreamcast title, Toukan Retsuden 4, the latest in the New Japan Pro Wrestling game series. It's currently at 70% completion and is slated for a July 22nd release from Tommy, though the price is still to be decided. You'll be able to play with up to 4 players, and it supports the Rumble Pack and online play. The developers are really putting effort into making the wrestler entrances impressive. Featured prominently is the legendary Atsushi Onita, known as a rebellious and charismatic figure in wrestling. The game boasts realistic 3D models thanks to 3D scanning technology. They've scanned wrestlers from all angles, even the soles of their feet, to create incredibly detailed in-game characters. They are really pushing the Dreamcast's capabilities for visual fidelity in wrestling games. This page is focused on the Dreamcast wrestling game, Giant Graham 2000, All Japan Pro Wrestling 3, featuring the wrestler Masahiro Chono. It highlights Chono's persona and in-game representation. The page emphasizes how the game captures Chono's wrestling style, his rebellious attitude against established wrestling organizations, and his smart approach in the ring. Screenshots showcase in-game action and details, such as Chono's finishing move, STF, and special match types. The page also details the meticulous creation of Chono's in-game model, focusing on facial expressions, jacket, wrestling boots, and even hand details to achieve realism. It mentions the no-rope explosive barbed wire deathmatch as a game mode. The text suggests the game aims to deliver a realistic wrestling experience and capture the essence of Chono's character. The next page is an advertisement for the Blue Stinger Perfect Guide. It's promoting a strategy guide for the game, calling it a complete strategy guide, and highlights that it's a 5 size and 112 pages with a price of 1,100 yen plus tax. The image features the Blue Stinger logo prominently and artwork from the game. This page is the front cover to a Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide section. The image features a rally car, likely referencing Sega Rally 2. It lists 4 games that are covered in this guide: Sega Rally 2, Redline Racer, Kita E. White Illumination, which was a Japanly visual novel, and Blue Stinger, the survival horror title. The page is copyright Sega Enterprises from 1998 and 1999. This page is about Sega Rally 2, focusing on network play and the upcoming PC version. It features 2 team recruitment sections for Sega Rally 2 Online. The first team is called TNT, led by TCU, and their goal is to defeat Team Cherry Blossoms. The second team is Beginner's Luck and Body Luck, led by BL. They are recruiting members for enjoying online matches and want players who are beginner-friendly, respectful, and enjoy playing. The page also previews the PC version of Sega Rally 2, highlighting enhanced features compared to the Dreamcast version. It mentions that the PC version leverages PC's high-performance capabilities to provide smoother graphics and improved speed. It emphasizes support for force feedback steering wheels and Microsoft Force Feedback Wheel for a more realistic driving experience, including steering wheel vibration and road surface feedback. It also points out that the PC version allows up to 4 players for online multiplayer via modem, LAN, or serial connections. The article suggests that the PC version's enhancements in graphics and features makes it superior to the Dreamcast version and will appeal to Sega Rally fans. 2 Dreamcast online racing teams, Run Like Dance RLD and Engine Stop Company Limited, are seeking new members and correcting a homepage address respectively. A major 4th different car type championship race, organized by the Japan Central Horse Racing Team, is scheduled for June 25th-26th, 1999. The event features 9 races across various courses using expert parts, with fixed car types per course. It encourages participation from all skill levels. The PC version boasts enhanced graphics with dynamic time and weather effects, reflections, 800 by 600 resolution, and 60 FPS frame rates. It utilizes the latest 1999 data, accurately representing new car models, including 1999 rally cars, like the Corolla WRC. The Car Profiles mode, with updated data and narration by voice actor Koichi Kitamura, is also enhanced. The next page features tuning guides for 2 Renault cars in a racing game, the Renault Maxi Megane and the Alpine Renault A110. For the Renault Maxi Megane, it is mentioned as the 3rd FF car in the game, with strong potential but understeer characteristics. The guide suggests setting adjustments to induce oversteer and make it driftable. The recommended settings include a 7-speed transmission, gear ratio +1, front suspension +2, rear suspension 4, steering +2, and brakes at default. The comment section details the reasoning behind these adjustments, focusing on enhancing cornering performance and steering response, particularly for tight corners and gravel or snow surfaces. For the Alpine Renault A110, described as a unique RR car, the guide addresses its inherent oversteer and difficulty in handling. The suggested settings aim to mitigate oversteer and improve stability. The recommended settings are a 5-speed transmission, gear ratio 0, front suspension +2, rear suspension +5, steering 1, and brakes at default. The comments explain these settings are intended to promote understeer and improve overall handling, especially on slippery surfaces, by making the front suspension firmer than the rear. This page is focused on car settings in Sega Rally 2, specifically for the Lancia 037 Rally. It mentions that even in its standard form, the 037 Rally is quite capable, but highlights its tendency to understeer, especially on snow. The guide suggests adjusting car settings to improve stability and reduce understeer. The page provides a table of recommended settings. Transmission is set to 5 mt. Gear ratio at 0. Front suspension at +2 for better response and slightly harder feel. Rear suspension at 1 to reduce understeer and make it slightly softer. Steering at +1 for quicker response. And brakes at 0, which is the default setting and is considered fine. The summary section emphasizes that suspension tuning is key, particularly front and rear, noting how much it can change the car's handling in Sega Rally. It also briefly touches on steering and brake settings, but overall, it's all about getting the suspension dialed in for the Lancia 037 Rally. This Redline Racer strategy guide focuses on hard and expert levels across 4 courses. It offers point-attack strategies and machine insights. The guide highlights the GX96J, ideal for expert with high acceleration, speed, and handling, but weak braking, and the CSL Lightning, A balanced machine with strong handling. Specific point attack advice is provided, using numbered screenshots to illustrate key course sections. The guide emphasizes slowing down and braking before corners, especially uphill. It also stresses line control and the importance of maintaining a good balance on the snowy, foggy courses. A high-performance machine riding admonitions section warns about the dangers of high-speed racing, especially on challenging courses. It advises careful driving, aiming for first place early, and using drafting to overtake. Crucial techniques like cornering lines and accelerator control are also discussed to avoid spins. This page showcases strategy guide information for the Dreamcast racing game, Justice Grand Prix. It details 3 expert-level courses: Sandy Coupe, Orchard Drain, and Tudor Hill. For Sandy Coupe, the guide highlights it as a course with many corners despite being short, recommending a half-throttle technique for maintaining medium speed through corners. The point attack sections illustrate navigating continuous right corners, keeping to the center of the course due to gaps on the sides of left corners, and being cautious after a large right turn where the road narrows. Orchard Drain, another expert course, features intense undulations. The guide advises using the half-throttle technique here too, emphasizing careful accelerator work. Point attack tips show how to handle consecutive left corners by decelerating sufficiently, navigating a gap in a right corner by the roadside while maintaining speed, and taking care not to jump too much after hitting small mounds on the course edges by staying central. Tudor Hill, the final expert course shown, is described as feeling similar to Orchard Drain but with gentler undulations. The challenge lies in the combined corners. The point attack advises against excessive speed in complex corners to avoid losing control, and mentions repeating small accelerator on-off actions or half-throttle to maintain speed. It also suggests aiming for the right side in the first complex corner, and being mindful of the subsequent left corner after a right complex corner, advising against sharp steering in the first part. This page is an advert for the Perfect Guide strategy book for the House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast. The guide boasts complete stage walkthroughs, branching path information, recommended routes, item locations within the original mode, and boss strategies. It's advertised as the definitive Dreamcast version guide and is published by SoftBank Publishing. This page is a reader submission section called Ghoul Ghoul Powers. The opening illustration is by a reader from Fukushima and is titled Seaman X2, depicting a muscular man with a fish body. In the Dream Square section, readers are writing in about their gaming experiences. One reader mentions having nothing to play due to game delays, but they decide to play Famicom or Mega Drive games. They also tried connecting to the internet with Dreamcast. Another reader talks about losing minigames on the visual memory, but their save data was safe. Another submission mentions enjoying Des, which they called Desama 2, and using it for Shiratori. A reader bought the Shenmue CD and thought the songs were amazing, especially Eyes on Me from Virtua Fighter 3. Other games mentioned are Real Sound and Wipeout. This week's Mixed Up Kids section introduces a simulation game called Palace Great War Simulation Kant War, set in the era of the Northern and Southern dynasties. The main theme song is called To the North. The game seems to be related to Fist of the North Star, with characters resembling those from the series. Finally, the Dreamaga Information Bureau Planning section has information about Dreamcast Magazine being available at convenience stores, with a warning to check hidden sections as it might not be displayed prominently. There are also profiles for Yusugemaki sister and Cat brother, describing their characteristics and roles in the magazine corner. This page features a collection of reader submissions and artwork. The Girls Chit Chat corner, Sisters' Secrets section, discusses reader opinions on ideal types of men, with one reader humorously preferring older men and another sharing thoughts on dating classmates. There is also a discussion about ideal mothers, specifically if mothers play games, and one reader mentions their mother enjoys playing Dreamcast games. The page also showcases reader-submitted artwork, Mikuri Basu Pretty Elans, and Finally We Did It! Continued Report. Sections seem to feature fan art of characters with those names or game titles. The Illustration Garden section presents reader-submitted art based on the theme of characters that look good in summer. Featured artwork includes characters from The King of Fighters, a character called Keith Evans, a character named Power Jack Stone, and artwork from the House of the Dead. These illustrations highlight different art styles from readers across various prefectures in Japan. This page is the Guru Comics section of the magazine, showcasing reader-created comics about Dreamcast games. Games featured include Soul Calibur, Fighting Vipers 2, Variable Geo, Berserk Guts Rage, which was released internationally as Berserk, Guts Rage, Melty Lancer Rebirth, Darkstalkers 3 known as Vampire Savior, The Lord of Vampire, and King of Fighters 99. Each comic submission is attributed to a prefecture and the creator's name. The editor comments on the length of the reader comments in this section and notes the thematic selection of games for this issue. This page is showcasing reader submissions and new corner ideas for the magazine. The Unconfirmed Information Bureau section talks about rumors, including one about a Dreamcast controller being released later, and mentions an adventure game. The New Corner Establishment Committee features reader comments on impactful game quotes, citing Princess Crown and Evolution, and also discusses Seaman and its real image version. There's a section calling for more reader submissions for new corner ideas, offering prize money based on the chosen ideas. The Dream Encounter part has reader illustrations and comments mentioning the Dracula series and Shining series as dreams they've had related to games. Finally, it details submission guidelines for readers, like using postcards or white paper with black ink, and the mailing address for sending in submissions. This page is a mail-order advertisement for Dreamcast and Saturn games and consoles. It lists a wide variety of new and older software titles for both systems, including peripherals and accessories. You can order Dreamcast games like Elemental Gimmick Gear, Dynamite Dika 2, and various Gundam titles, and Saturn games such as FRENZ and Outrun. Mega Drive, Game Gear, and MD/CD software are also available. The page provides contact details via phone or FAX for placing orders, and outlines payment and delivery methods. Anime director Daiichi Taro, dubbed the anime industry's maverick, discusses his career in an interview. A core theme in his work is laugh and don't give up. After returning to the industry, he initially felt anxious but worked diligently. He reflects on his involvement in gag anime and going freelance, inspired by Kodomo no Omocha. A fortune teller predicted his success after 4 years, which coincided with directing Nurse Angel Ririka SOS. He also discusses 2 of his key works. Oja Rumaru was his first directorial role, and he immediately accepted it. Jubei-chan, an original anime, holds special significance for him, and he strives to make it a masterpiece. He concludes by expressing his dedication to both Ojarumaru and Jubei-chan. Akitaru Daiichi, an animation creator born in 1956, discusses recurring themes in his work, focusing on laughter and the feeling of being alive. He believes laughter provides a vital space, even in difficult circumstances, and hopes viewers find joy in life and the ability to overcome challenges. Daiichi's career spans photography to animation direction, with notable works including Kodomo no Omocha, Urayasu Tekken Kazoku, Ojarumaru, and Jubei-chan. The page profiles Ojarumaru, a series about a time-traveling imp, and Jubei-chan, a comedy featuring a junior high school girl fighting villains. The interview and profiles are accompanied by an advertisement for Suzuki Misono's manga, Otona no Shikumi 2. This page is a manga comic strip section called Something Yoshimatsu Theater, that is a Dreamcast information manga. It seems to be a humorous take on Dreamcast-related topics, featuring a character called Kyasuko. The manga discusses Kyasuko's giantification, a character countermeasures team, and mentions monsters called Seagoras and Sea Monster. It has a comedic tone and makes a metaphor about a graveyard of game consoles somewhere in space. The strip also includes character names or phrases like Jipya and Yorokonde Itadakimasu, and seems to be a lighthearted and humorous commentary on a Dreamcast game or game-related subject. This page is a special calendar for 1999 presented by Dreamcast Magazine, showcasing upcoming Dreamcast game releases for the latter half of the year. It lists games for each month starting in July with the King of Fighters Dream Match 1999. August features Shenmue, followed by Espionage Agents in September. October highlights Soul Calibur, November is for Sonic Adventure, and December lists Jet Girls. This page is a July 1999 calendar themed around the King of Fighters Dream Match 1999. The calendar days are displayed with the corresponding day of the week, highlighting Saturdays and Sundays. The artwork features characters from the King of Fighters series in a fiery background. This page is a calendar page for August, featuring a stylized image of a woman with a straw hat in a green dress, standing in a watery environment. The calendar grid on the right side highlights Sundays in orange and Saturdays in blue. The month August is printed above the dates. This page is a September calendar, featuring artwork from Soul Calibur. The calendar highlights weekends in orange and marks the 15th and 23rd, with Japanese text indicating holidays, likely respect for the Age Day and Autumnal Equinox Day, respectively. The artwork in the background showcases characters and scenes from Soul Calibur. This page is a calendar for October, titled Espionagents at the top. It features artwork of anime-style characters in the background, which is likely promotional material related to a game from 1999. The calendar itself lists the days of October. This page is a Sonic Adventure-themed November calendar page. It features a full-month calendar layout with dates and days of the week, alongside artwork of Sonic the Hedgehog and a Chow character. The calendar highlights two Japanese public holidays, Culture Day on November 3rd and Labor Thanksgiving Day on November 23rd. This page is a December calendar page featuring Jet Girl's artwork. The calendar highlights the 24th of December and includes the text, Merry Christmas, along with anime-style girls dressed in Santa outfits. The calendar also marks the 23rd of December as Emperor's Birthday. There is also some Japanese text that reads, Male Team Pamu, which might refer to a section of the magazine or the group of characters depicted. This page is the back cover of Dreamcast Magazine. It prominently features the Dreamcast logo in green and white. The text surrounding the logo is in Japanese. Copyright information for 1999 SoftBank Publishing Inc. is also present at the bottom. This page features the third installment of Fumio Kurokawa's Friend K's Recollections column. In this article, Kurokawa discusses how games have changed, noting a perceived shift from games emphasizing player freedom to those with more sophisticated content. He draws parallels to musical evolution with bands like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, as well as the continuous improvement of Japanese automobiles. The column also shares an anecdote about a successful novelist who found unhappiness in material wealth and returned to a simpler life, and mentions manga artist Tsunekawa Tsubame. Kurokawa's profile at the bottom reveals his background in music, film, and Sega AM2, including his work on the VF series, and his current role in game promotion. He invites readers to send in their opinions and feedback. This page is advertising the anime series Crest of the Stars Volume 1, announcing its DVD release scheduled for May 25th. It details the anime as a space opera set in a vast galaxy, anticipated by fans. The page highlights character introductions for Lafiel, Jinto, and Dusanyu, giving brief descriptions of each. It also provides a story summary, explaining the background of the Arjav and the meeting of Jinto and Lafiel. Related products are mentioned, including the original novels, handbooks, and radio dramas available on CD. The page also mentions DVD releases of Ultra 7, noting its high picture and sound quality, and upcoming releases of Ultraman and Ultra Q. The Ultra 7 DVDs will be released on June 25th, with each volume containing episodes and special features. SKY Perfect TV is promoting a series of anime releases. Upcoming titles include the OVA, Harlock Saga Der Ring des Nibelungen Volume 3, and Cowboy Bebop 6th Session, both out May 25th. Other releases include Iron, Kurogane, Communication Volume 3 inches, already released, Akihabara Denkigai, May 28th, Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 ACTION 5, June 9th, Adolescence Apocalypse Girl Gemini 4th Volume, May 25th, Virus Buster Surge ACT 46, already released, Small Giant Microman, May 28th, Cyber Marionette J to XACT 6, May 25th, and Game King King Volume 5 inches, rental started May 14th. The variety spans genres like science fiction, action, and romance, with releases originating from various TV networks. Additionally, DirecTV is advertising the movie Godzilla. This page features a corner in Dreamcast Magazine called Dot Masters Cathedral by Kosu Hirofumi, dedicated to dot art. It's a revamped corner focusing on dot art techniques and responding to reader questions. The page introduces Paradise Chef's Recipe, a section explaining how to create appealing characters in dot art, specifically focusing on drawing people. It breaks down the dot art process into steps, starting with a rough sketch called Atari, then refining the silhouette, and finally adding finishing touches. The Unbelievably Mysterious Game Industry section discusses the game industry, mentioning restructuring and the author's nickname Game Shop Buster, also referred to as Magazine Buster, in relation to Dreamcast Magazine. The page includes pixel art examples and illustrations of a chef and a surprised cartoon man. This page showcases fan-submitted pixel artwork inspired by various games. There's a section featuring art based on Dreamcast itself, Spike Out Final Edition, Evolution, Eternal Dungeons highlighting the character Linear, Street Fighter Alpha 3 with Ryu, and Kita E. White Illumination featuring Aida Megumi. A segment called Dolly's Favorite presents user pixel art selected by the character Dolly. Dr. Inumaru shares his thoughts on pixel art in slightly tempting words. The page concludes with instructions on how to send postcards and messages to Dreamcast Magazine's editorial department at SoftBank Publishing for submissions. This page is from the Koji Hayama's Game Industry Special Ring feature, Round 13, titled Culture's Final Stop. It features an interview with musician Koji Hayama, known for his game music and albums, including Super Sibling Noble Legend. Koji Hayama discusses cultural changes and his perspective as a musician in the game industry. He talks about the current trends and how information consumption has changed, especially for younger generations, with convenience stores and readily available media. He contrasts his generation, where information was scarcer, to the modern era of information overload. He expresses concern about superficial trends and boom periods in culture and music, and his own musical career, having debuted at 27 and now at 34 with 10 albums. He touches on the concept of chodasa, or super lame trends, and how trends fade quickly. He states his music is aimed at adults over 20 who are living seriously, and that he aims to create music that is not disposable and has lasting value. At the bottom of the page, there is information about Koji Hayama merchandise for sale, including t-shirts with the phrase, "Live Seriously," printed on them for 3,000 yen, original face towels for 2,400 yen, and black bandanas for 600 yen. FAX order details are provided, and a signed color paper gift is mentioned for simultaneous purchases. There is also an advertisement for his remix album, 99 Super Sibling Noble Legend Best and Super Remix, available from NEC Interchannel, priced at 3,059 yen. This page is an advertisement for a Sakura Wars song show photo book titled Tsubasa Production Photo Diary. It highlights that the book captures the stage performance of Hiroi Oji's Sakura Wars stage show. The book is B5 size, has 160 pages, and is priced at 2,800 yen plus tax, and is currently on sale. The page also advertises Sakura Wars 2, Original Pictures and Setting Materials Collection Art Book, and Sakura Wars OVA Fan Book, Volumes 1 and 2. This page is a questionnaire postcard from Dreamcast Magazine designed to gather reader feedback. It includes instructions on how to fill out the questionnaire, along with example answers. The questionnaire itself covers reader demographics such as gender, age, school or occupation, and their reading habits of Dreamcast Magazine and other publications. It asks about the frequency of sending in postcards, owning Dreamcast software, and future hardware and software purchasing plans for both Dreamcast and Sega Saturn. It also explores how readers use their PCs and what types of articles they found interesting in the current issue. The page features lists of hardware, Dreamcast software, and Sega Saturn software. The hardware list includes items like the Dreamcast itself, visual memory, various arcade sticks, and older Sega consoles like Mega Drive and Saturn. The Dreamcast and Saturn software lists are simply titles, without further descriptions, covering a wide range of games available for each system. Finally, there is a list of articles featured in the current magazine issue, covering topics like E3 reports, game previews like Brave Firefighters, and game reviews such as Dynamite Deca 2, Die Hard Arcade 2, and Shenmue. This page is an advertisement for the official complete guide for the game Elemental Gimmick Gear. It is announced for release in late May, priced at 1,800 yen plus tax, and will be 192 pages long. The guide promises to be the ultimate resource for players, offering complete strategy guides with maps, boss battle tactics illustrated with diagrams, coverage of hidden items and minigames, a complete walkthrough of the game, and in-depth content like setting materials and developer interviews. The advert highlights the guide as essential for uncovering all the hidden mysteries within Elemental Gimmick Gear. Screenshots from the game are also featured. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Kita E White Illumination, To the North. It focuses on dating advice for the character Kei Tanaka in Sapporo, during the winter segment of the game. The guide suggests sufficient date routes to maximize affection, recommending locations like Mama Sabroso, Beetlebaum, Assam Tea Shop, and Sapporo SPA Land. It points out that outdoor pool and sauna dates are important for increasing affection, while indoor pools have less impact. The guide also highlights key dialogue choices when talking with Kay, such as at the entrance of the Assam Tea Shop, where picking the "I investigated it myself" option is recommended. The text advises players to understand Kay's feelings and choose dialogue options that resonate with her. It also mentions that affection gained in summer cannot be carried over to winter, making events and bathhouses crucial for affection increase in the winter segment. The guide warns that certain dialogue choices in specific locations can prematurely end the date in Sapporo, specifically mentioning the third location in a date. This page is from a Dreamcast strategy guide focusing on dating locations in Hakodate, Japan, within a game. It presents a suggested date course starting in Motomachi and ending in Goryokaku, recommending Yunokawa Onsen to increase affection. The page highlights that Hakodate is preferable to Sapporo for dates due to numerous food events and cosplay opportunities. The intermission section describes the character, Corinne, as sociable and understanding dating strategies, hinting at events during travel and suggesting consideration for her feelings. It notes that Corinne is perceived as colder in Sapporo. The guide details specific locations. In Hakodate, events occur in a gorgeous lobby and Hikara costume room, with dialogue options influencing affection. Motomaki features the Hikara costume room and suggests taking commemorative photos. As Saichi, morning market, reveals Corinne's liking for standing and eating, and Unibowl, again with dialogue choices. Finally, Goryokaku is presented as the destination after Motomachi, leading to a tea shop and the surprising idea of sushi parfait, including further dialogue choices. The page also mentions taking photos in gorgeous dresses within the game, suggesting 2 image examples are available. This page is a strategy guide focused on dating the character Shina Mayu in a Dreamcast game. Mayu is described as a cool and somewhat aloof character, 8 years older than the protagonist, making dating her a unique challenge. To achieve a good ending, players need to navigate her personality and overcome difficulties throughout the game's summer and winter chapters. The guide highlights specific dating scenarios and locations within Sapporo, Japan, including driving in Mayu's car, where conversations about accidents should be avoided. It recommends date spots such as Mama Saburo, Beetlebaum, Tea House Assam, the Clock Tower, and Sapporo SPA Land. At the Clock Tower, engaging in conversations about public phones and tourist spots can reveal Mayu's logical side, and responding positively to this trait is favorable. During intermission moments and events, Mayu might show subtle signs of affection despite her cool exterior, like getting physically close or even clinging. At Sapporo SPA Land, while she may not enjoy swimming much, showing genuine concern and avoiding overly intimate gestures is key to building a positive relationship. The guide emphasizes that understanding Mayu's logical nature and responding attentively to her subtle cues is crucial for a successful date. This page is part of the Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide and features dating advice in Hakodate. It suggests date courses in locations like the Morning Market, Hot Spring Resorts, and Motomachi, recommending how to interact with a girl named Kayoru in each place. It notes that Kayoru enjoys Asian-style cafes and resorts, so discussing Asia is a good topic. There's also mention of a mysterious, reversed character at one of the locations, which might be a point of interest. Below this is a Hudson fan page section titled North 2, featuring fan submissions and event information, specifically Sugusuran Friends Association Meeting Bulletin No. 7. It thanks readers for many contest applications and mentions a love message contest and fashion illustration contest, with results to be announced in the June issue of Dreamcast Magazine. The page showcases fan art submissions for various characters, including Kotori, Megumi, Shiori, Kozue, and Kaoru. Each artwork is accompanied by comments praising the illustrations and noting the artists' names and prefectures. Finally, there's a posting recruitment box encouraging readers to send in illustrations and messages about games and their feelings towards girls, inviting submissions to be featured in color. It provides an address for sending these submissions to the Dreamcast Magazine editorial department. Blue Stinger's final battle unfolds in a dinosaur research facility, where the revived ancient monster, Jasconi, threatens humanity. The Kimura Corporation attempts to conceal the truth, discovered by Elliot and dogs. Players navigate the facility using a long-range rifle and defensive shutters, which open top to bottom. Before the final stage, the pre-start final check advises players to stock up on weapon bullets and recovery items, particularly full recovery items and plate-type food. The water pipe map section details a path to the radio wave tower. Dogs and Janine travel ahead in a capsule boat, leaving Elliot to explore the water pipe area alone, utilizing paths on either side of the waterway to deal with enemies. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Dino Crisis. Focusing on the brain area radio tower section, it advises players to carefully listen to Janine's explanation after returning to the brain center, which triggers a reconciliation event with Janine and dogs. The guide then details how to open a previously inaccessible door in the command room, obtain a map downloader, and proceed to the water pipe area. It suggests running through the underground waterway passage to avoid enemies, and advises players to ignore the Barracuda Dinocyte enemies in the water to conserve ammunition, recommending weapons like the handgun and 3-shot shotgun if engagement is necessary. Finally, upon reaching the capsule port, the guide recommends saving the game and using items to recover health before progressing further, emphasizing that dogs will be waiting until the radio tower is cleared. The next page covers strategy information for the Wave Tower area in the Dreamcast game Blue Stinger. It details item purchase locations where you can buy magazines for the Nabarm Launcher, Elliot Bazooka, Dog's Bazooka, and Liffucker, and offers tips for navigating the Wave Tower. It highlights the importance of maintaining full stamina during tower ascents due to slippery floors and potential falls, suggesting using Hashi to recover health safely when enemies are not nearby. The page also explains the traps in the Wave Tower, describing sections of the floor that collapse when stepped on, requiring quick movement to avoid falling, and suggesting the use of lifecycle items for rescue if a fall occurs. The provided maps detail floors 2F, 3F, 4F, and 5F of the Wave Tower area, showing locations and item placements. The next page of the Dreamcast magazine provides a walkthrough strategy for a dinosaur extermination game, likely Dino Crisis, although the title is not explicitly stated. Section 3 advises players to dash through a narrow passage on the 6th floor of the Denpa Tower and take a breather at Hashi. Failing to navigate this section means restarting from the beginning. Section 4 explains how to reactivate an elevator in the RF central area by interacting with a yellow panel to allow dogs to reach RF. Section 5 details a timed survival challenge of 3 minutes and 45 seconds after reactivating the elevator. Players need to defend Janine from 2 dinosaur enemies during this time, recommending the Gatling gun for its rapid fire and power, and positioning themselves behind Janine for protection. Section 6 discusses the tentacle dino site on the 6th floor, suggesting players ignore tentacle dinosaurs in narrow passages and focus on collecting items, noting that there are many items to be collected. The page includes mini-maps of floors 4F, 5F, 6F, and RF, marking item locations and enemy types. This page is an advertisement for Hashi Recover energy drink. It features 2 smiling Japanese women in futuristic outfits holding cans of the drink. The advertisement text promotes Hashi as a popular energy drink in Japan. It also announces a contest where collecting 5 Hashi stickers gives you a chance to win a trip to space for 30 pairs, 60 people, with details about the application process and prize presentation on a TV program. The bottom of the ad mentions KIMRA Beverage as the manufacturer and notes the can is recyclable. The next page delves into boss battle strategies for Dino Crisis. The focus is on confronting a large dinosaur-like creature called Jasconi, which is described as a clone body. The page title translates to, Covering Dinosaur Island, the Ancient Terror is Revived. The article highlights key points for defeating Jasconi, emphasizing that this is a challenging rematch, and recommends revisiting the save data if players are struggling. It notes that Jasconi's attack patterns change as its health decreases, particularly when it reaches half health, where it starts using area effect attacks that can hinder player movement. The strategy section advises players to use the environment to their advantage and to continuously move to avoid Jasconi's attacks, especially its fire breath, which sweeps horizontally. It suggests that fully evading the fire is impossible, and that the best approach is to move to a safe spot near Jasconi's feet when it pauses its fire attack and use powerful weapons. 2 weapons are highlighted: the Elliot Bazooka, noted for its impact and power despite slow reloading, and the railgun, praised for its accuracy and effectiveness against dog-type enemies, suggesting it's also effective against Jasconi. The Elliot Bazooka magazine and railgun are described as Best choice weapons. The screenshots show in-game action, including Elliot battling Jasconi in an arena-like setting, highlighting the close-quarters combat and the scale of the boss. The article ends by saying that defeating the clone Jasconi and Nephilim leads to peace on the island. This Soul Calibur special issue, titled Like Clouds, Like Waves, Such a Sea, explores the character Maxi. Focusing on his backstory, the page details Maxi's life as a seaman from the independent Ryukyu Kingdom, Okinawa, in the 16th century. He is the son of a merchant and is known for his adventurous personality and use of nunchaku, a fighting style influenced by Chinese martial arts. The text covers his involvement with pirates and his father's concerns. He encounters Li Ron from the Ming Dynasty, searching for Soul Edge. But Maxi prioritizes his homeland, returning to the Ming Dynasty. The page also features in-game screenshots and character art. The sacred swords of Sofidia and Xianghua are mentioned, hinting at treasures within the Senyoji Temple. This page showcases Soul Calibur for Dreamcast, highlighting it as Volume 4 of the magazine's coverage. The page is focused on the story of a man, delving into the narrative and character relationships within the game. It features a character relationship diagram detailing the connections between characters like Astaroth, Kilik, Maxi, Li Long, Xianghua, and others, outlining their familial and friendly bonds. The text elaborates on Maxi's backstory, mentioning his father was a Ryukyu Kingdom trading ship captain, and his encounter with Li Long, from whom Maxi learned his fighting style. The page also describes Soul Edge as a cursed sword, originally a pair, now a single greatsword, due to one being destroyed. A screenshot captures in-game action. Key details in the top right corner mention that Soul Calibur is from Namco, is scheduled for release, is a 3D weapons-based action game, has an undecided price, and is compatible with Rumble packs. This Soul Calibur special issue profiles Maxi, the pirate from the southern seas. His story begins with a meeting with Kilik in India. After entrusting his ship to his brother, Kan, Maxi encounters a monster-pursued Kilik. They sail together, but a monster horde attacks, during which Kan is mortally wounded by Astaroth, who steals the cursed sword. Kilik, driven mad, attacks Maxi, but the sword is returned to its original state, and Kilik collapses. Kan urges Maxi to take Kilik west before dying. Maxi, seeking revenge on Astaroth, vows to fulfill Kan's request. Maxi's weapon is the nunchaku, Shiriti Suyuan, a custom-made version. The text explains the nunchaku's evolution from its Okinawan karate origins, highlighting its use of centrifugal force for attack. While difficult to master, it is a weapon used to keep opponents at bay and exploit openings. Screenshots depict Maxi's in-game nunchaku techniques. This page is dedicated to Maxi from Soul Calibur, highlighting his unique fighting style which revolves around 6 different stances. It details how to effectively use these stances to relentlessly attack opponents. The page showcases examples of combo attacks utilizing stances like Morningstar Strike and Giant's Gate. It explains that Maxi's stances are not just static positions, but are dynamically entered from moves, enabling a flowing and unpredictable combat style. Screenshots illustrate different stances and attack combinations, demonstrating how Maxi can transition between stances to confuse opponents and deliver powerful blows. The guide emphasizes Maxi's ability to chain stances and move seamlessly, making him a versatile and challenging character to master in Soul Calibur. This page is focused on Namco's Soul Calibur, initially referred to as Namco vs. Soul, Provisional. The page is looking for Soul Calibur cosplay photos to feature. It delves into the game's development, discussing character modeling, weapon design, and the game mechanics. Mr. Ban is mentioned as overseeing character models for the VS development department. The article touches upon weapon design and how stances change in the game system, linking it back to the previous title, Soul Edge. Characters like Maxi and Mitsurugi are highlighted in relation to stance changes and weapon design discussions. It's announced that the next issue will contain details about the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. This page is a fan page dedicated to the Dreamcast game Sengoku Turb, T-Herb. The page opens with a discussion titled, Cats Are Necessary, Aren't They? By Molina, exploring the in-game creatures and player opinions, with one reader from Tochigi Prefecture sharing their positive experiences, and another from Fukuoka Prefecture, humorously asking about finding mail in a cave within the game. The page showcases fan art in a section called Illustration Great Strategy, featuring drawings of Sengoku Turb characters from artists across Japan, including Marina from Tokyo and Yoshida Ai from Chiba. each with a short comment about their artwork and love for the game. A Turb Person's Tweets section discusses player naming conventions in Sengoku Turb, with readers from Chiba and Osaka sharing their approaches to naming characters and mentioning using default names or character archetypes. Finally, there's a recruitment notice explaining how players can contribute to the fan page, and the top right corner includes game information for Sengoku Turb, announcing its release on January 14th for 5,800 yen as an action RPG for one player, and a humorous note about Melina's body pillow not being finished yet. This page is showcasing Cybertrooper's Virtual On Oratorio Tangram for the Dreamcast, highlighting the game's upcoming release. The page is titled, Countdown to the DC version begins. Sleeping Virtual On players, stand up now, and focuses on the second round battle of the Cybertroopers Virtual On series. The article suggests it's still not too late to debut in Oratorio Tangram. It features a section called Teach Me Oratorio, with lessons about gameplay. One section focuses on double lock-on and getting into close combat range. It explains double lock-on as a system where weapons gauge turns yellow when in close range, allowing for close combat attacks. Another segment is a recap of the previous gameplay mechanics and introduces the turbo shot for aiming and attacking. Screenshots show gameplay action with mecha robots engaging in combat, demonstrating the turbo shot being used for aiming and the double lock-on system in close-range fights. The characters Dr. Wright and Lon are featured in a dialogue format discussing the gameplay mechanics and strategies of Oratorio Tangram. This Dreamcast Magazine guide focuses on close-range combat tactics for Cybertroopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram. It's structured as a conversation between Ron and Hakase, covering techniques within close-range combat actions I, 2, and 2I. Action I details circling the opponent with quick steps. Action 2 explains stealing strategies, emphasizing unpredictability. Action 2I covers guarding, highlighting its importance while cautioning against over-reliance. The guide also outlines movement techniques like lever only and double lock-on lever input, and stresses mastering quick steps and dashes. A table details various close-range attacks, including normal, crouching, turbo, jump, quick step, guard reversal, dash, and down attacks. The overall goal is to instruct players on effective close-quarters combat, emphasizing movement, guarding, and attack execution. The Cybertroopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram introduces the renewed Virturoid CYPHER, a high-mobility machine designed for players familiar with the Viper 2. Version 5.4 CYPHER features a dagger replacing the 7WAY missile, offering less battle impact but thinner armor, demanding skillful evasion. Dash attacks have been altered, requiring a more cautious offense, and the dagger slows enemy movement. Transformation to flight form uses the Start button. Key updates in 5.4 include immediate dagger projectile launches and the infinite dagger technique, requiring careful gauge management. Mobility adjustments limit excessive dashing and make jump turbo landings riskier, while aerial side dashes retain speed. A primary attack strategy is aerial side dash left weapon into center weapon. Developer comments from Hiroshi Oki portray the CYPHER as a fast, suspenseful blade with a unique design and gameplay role. Screenshots showcase the pink and blue CYPHER Virturoids in action. This page introduces the APARM B from Cybertroopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, presenting it as a renewal of the old APARM unit and explaining it's easy for new players to use. It highlights that the APARM B is designed for close combat and is an upgraded version of the original APARM D. The page compares the initial Virtual Ion APARM D to the APARM B, mentioning the replacement of the shotgun with submachine guns and the addition of napalm as a weapon, making it easier to approach enemies while using barriers. The text describes the APARM DB as being effective in close quarters. A section discusses new version 5.4 of APARM B, noting changes such as the left turbo RW turning blue and the Varmer being significantly reduced. It explains that RW attacks are generally easier to hit with now, and advises players to use them during enemy hardening or down states. The double lock-on range is slightly increased from 134.9 meters to 139.9 meters in version 5.4, making close attacks easier to land. Finally, there's a section titled Virtual On Works Oratan, Developers' Words. This is the reborn APARM B. This features a passionate quote from a developer about the APARM B's close combat prowess and its intended playstyle, emphasizing aggressive approaches against different enemy types. This page unveils Helena, a new character for Dead or Alive 2, in a feature from the Naomi Juku Gaiden Tecmo Team Ninja official corner. The page presents an interview with Mr. Itagaki discussing Helena's charm and background. Helena is introduced as French, an opera singer, and her fighting style is Pigwakwan. Itagaki mentions that the development of Dead or Alive 2 is in its final stages, with character and system aspects largely solidified. He explains that Helena was designed with a focus on French femininity and elegance, and her opera singer background is reflected in her stage design, an opera house. He chose France as her nationality because he wanted a European character, and France had the desired sophisticated image, and the name Helena sounded beautiful in French. Her fighting style, Pigwakwan, was chosen to represent Eastern martial arts, creating a blend of European and Eastern elements. The interview also touches upon Helena's backstory, suggesting a possible connection to China in her past, and briefly discusses her relationships with other characters like Ayan in the context of back attacks in the game. Screenshots showcase Helena and Ayan in combat, highlighting the opera house stage. Dead or Alive 2's development focuses on a diverse character roster with varied fighting styles and a user-friendly experience for both beginners and veterans, utilizing the hold system. Character design and motion are being carefully integrated. The development diary highlights Kasumi's near-complete facial design, upcoming cutscenes, and successful voice recording. Player feedback includes suggestions for new techniques, a 4-button control scheme, and localized damage, all being considered. Screenshots feature Helena and Zack, while fan art of Lei Fang is praised. The article actively encourages fan submissions, including popularity votes and artwork, showcasing community involvement in shaping the game. This page presents an in-depth look at the Dreamcast game Seaman, titled Seaman Exploration Record Load to the Mystery. It positions Seaman as a subject of study within the context of ancient records and civilization and living creatures archaeology. The article delves into the game's themes by referencing Kojiki, Japan's oldest historical record, and connects it to the research of a figure named Honjo Director, who appears to be inspired by the historical scholar Motoori Norinaga, known for his Kojiki studies. The text suggests that even Masuda, possibly referring to game creator Yute Saito, sees the interpretation of Kojiki as crucial to his research. The article explores the mystery surrounding Seaman's origins, hinting at connections to ancient myths and civilizations, and showcases in-game imagery alongside historical depictions and what's called Honjo's Heaven and Earth Creation Imagination Diagram, further emphasizing the game's blend of mythology and virtual pet simulation. It also mentions Honjo Director's research of ancient records and Sacred Place of Director's research, Honjo Residence, implying a deep dive into the scholarly background influencing the game's creation. This page is dedicated to Seaman Mania Times, a section focusing on the Dreamcast game Seaman. It opens with a quote from Seaman. "Hate is the opposite of like, isn't it? No, the opposite of hate is indifference." The page continues. Seaman's Declaration, Part 3, which relates to Sean equals Polgabee's theory. There's a section titled Seaman Democratic Republic, discussing the Dream Aga Cup and fierce competition surrounding it. The page also features Memories, a comic strip section showcasing user-submitted 4-panel manga featuring Seaman. Seaman Gallery is a section for fan artwork and expresses disappointment about the delayed release of Seaman Forbidden Pet, acknowledging the feelings of fans sending in postcards and showcasing some fan art. The editorial postscript mentions a book and the editor's anticipation for Seaman, playfully suggesting a misleadingly grand name for the game and expressing high expectations. There are also reader submissions and comments included throughout the page, sharing experiences and funny observations about the game. This week's Street Scene Seaman highlights user-submitted photos related to Seaman. This page is a manga preview for the game Kamisama no Sekai Evolution, known internationally as Evolution, the World of Sacred Device. It features a manga story spread across the page, introducing the game's world and characters. On the left side, character introductions are given for Grenade, Mag Launcher, and Chain Gun, detailing their roles and personalities within the game. The manga panels themselves depict comedic interactions between the characters, likely showcasing the game's light-hearted adventure tone. The text within the panels and character bios are in Japanese, giving more details about the characters and the upcoming game release on January 21st. This page is from the Sunrise Robot of CG World Series, Volume 14, featuring the Aura Battler Dunbine anime series, and specifically focusing on the mecha called Leprechaun. The article describes the Leprechaun as a heavy firepower Aura Battler developed by a certain country, highlighting its role and characteristics within the anime's storyline. It mentions Burn Bunnings as a character related to the mecha and includes technical data about the leprechaun such as its height, weight, weapons like fly bombs and aura shots, and pilot details including Gerald and Alan. The article originates from the Sunrise IU Den Chronicle. This page is an advertisement for SoftBank Professional Books, focusing on 3D graphics software guides. The ad promotes a range of books covering various 3D software packages, such as 3D Studio Max, Lightwave 3D, Softimage 3D, Poser 3, and Photoshop 5.0. Book titles include guides on creature workshops, photorealism toolkits, animation, effects references, modeling and materials, and technique bibles aimed at game creators. The ad also includes contact information for SoftBank Publishing and their website. This page showcases the contents of the magazine and weekly data related to Sega Saturn games. The contents page lists articles for Sega Saturn Reader Race, a complete guide, and articles on Derby Stallion and Friends Youth's Radiance. The weekly data station section presents 2 top 5 rankings. The user data top 5 for anticipated new titles lists Sonic 3D, Flicky's Island at number 1, followed by Worms Woes, With You I Want to Gaze at You, Real Sound 2 Wins Regret, and Street Fighter 03. The shop data top 3 for best-selling software features Friends Youth's Radiance at the top, Derby Stallion in second, and Roommate 3 to the Shining Morning in the Wind in third place. Finally, there's a Sega Saturn release schedule calendar showing upcoming game releases including Professional Guide Southern Game Soldier, With You I Want to Gaze at You, Monster Maker Holy Dagger, and Street Fighter 03. This page is showcasing the weekly Sega Saturn Readers Race, where readers evaluate all Sega Saturn software. This ranking, as of May 21st with 1147 games listed, is based on reader votes, helping players decide what to purchase. Top-ranked games include Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, Uno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, Grandia, and Concept. The ranking is described as a fierce battle for the top spot, with Soul Hackers and Uno highlighted as currently leading. This page catalogs Sega Saturn reader-voted game rankings. Top-ranked games include Sakura Wars 2, This World of Yours, Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, and Virtua Fighter 2, lauded for their gameplay, story, and graphics. Reader comments highlight Sakura Wars 2's enhanced adventure elements, This World of Yours' intriguing parallel worlds, and Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers' mastery of RPG mechanics. Conversely, the lowest-rated games, the Dasama titles, include Discrimson, Mahjong Sea Story, and School Ghost Story, surprisingly generating discussion despite their poor scores. Finally, an odds table Saturn B provides an extensive list of Saturn games, organized by genre and average scores, spanning a wide variety of titles from multiple genres. This page presents Odds Table Saturn C, which is a ranking chart for Sega Saturn games. It lists numerous titles with their rank, previous rank, game title, genre, and a score. It appears to be a popularity or review score ranking list. The page is densely packed with game titles in Japanese, categorized by genre, and ranked by some sort of scoring system. It showcases a wide variety of Saturn games, reflecting the diverse library available on the platform. This webpage provides information on Sega Saturn and Dreamcast content. It features game and peripheral rankings for the Saturn, along with user comments and a discussion on the console war. The page highlights reader participation contests, where they can predict game rankings and average scores for Dreamcast titles, with prizes including a Dreamcast arcade stick, visual memory unit, and a software title. Contest entries require postcard submissions with predictions and comments, due May 27th. Prediction contests for this issue include Dynamite Cop for ranking, and Elemental Gimmick Gear for odds. This page is a guide for breeding the strongest horses in Derby Stallion on Sega Saturn. It presents breeding strategies in 3 steps: theory, verification, and practice. Steps. The theory section explains how to increase the probability of producing famous horses by layering breeding techniques. The verification section discusses focusing on stallion selection and bloodline when actually breeding. The practice section talks about using name changes and letting horses graze to improve stamina and other abilities to produce strong horses. The article emphasizes the importance of understanding breeding theories and putting them into practice to create the ultimate racehorse. The game was released on March 25th for 6,800 yen and is a horse racing simulation where players can breed and train horses. The next page is a guide to horse breeding strategies, focusing on different approaches to create the strongest racehorses in a horse racing simulation game. It details 4 main breeding patterns, explaining the combinations of interesting breeding and thought-out breeding, with inbreeding and outbreeding. Interesting breeding aims to boost a horse's competitive spirit, while thought-out breeding is a more strategic method. Inbreeding can amplify desirable traits, but carries risks like poor temperament and weak health in offspring, while outbreeding minimizes these risks by utilizing parental similarity for desired effects. The page emphasizes mixed breeding as a universally beneficial technique that enhances speed and stamina without negative consequences,
making it a strong foundation to combine with other breeding strategies. Each breeding pattern section lists good and bad points, outlining the advantages and disadvantages of each approach to help players make informed breeding decisions and improve their racehorse quality. The game uses horse stats such as distance and dirt aptitude, growth potential, health, temperament, race record, stamina, and stability. The next page is a guide on horse breeding, specifically focused on a technique called generation stacking to breed the strongest horses. It explains that generation stacking involves breeding your own produced horses over generations to enhance their abilities and create versatile bloodlines. The guide highlights that stamina is crucial for top-tier horse racing, and to achieve this, a 4-generation breeding strategy is recommended. It gives specific examples for each generation. First-generation breeding uses Sunday Silence to enhance speed. Second generation uses Bamboo Atlas to build stamina. The third generation employs Northern Taste. Finally, the 4th generation completes the breeding with Brian's Time and a self-produced mare, aiming for thoughtful breeding while considering nicks, good compatibility between breeds. This final breeding results in inbreeding of Graustark. The page stresses that focusing on stamina is essential for winning races, especially in high-level competitions where speed alone is not enough. It advises players to prioritize stamina enhancement when breeding, particularly in the earlier generations. This page provides breeding strategy examples for a horse racing simulation game, likely on Sega Saturn, given the magazine context. It details 2 combination examples for breeding strong racehorses. The first example, Combination Example 2, using Danehill and Rainbow Quest, focuses on an outbreed combination with an 85% expectation rating. It emphasizes using nitro for breeding, highlighting that 15 out of 30 ancestral horses have inbreeding effects with Danehill. The strategy spans 4 generations, using Brian's Time and Epicurean in the first generation, Simbori Rudolph in the second, and Rainbow Quest in the third, culminating in a self-produced foal in the 4th generation using the Red God lineage. The page stresses the importance of nitro for producing the strongest horses, stating it is essential for maximizing potential and breaking performance limits. The second example, Combination Example 3, using Sadler's Wells and Nashwan, showcases an admirable combination with a 60% expectation rating. This example also spans 4 generations, starting with Hospitality and Epicurean, followed by Simbori Rudolph and Nashwan, and also ends with a self-produced foal from the Red God lineage in the 4th generation. This section also reinforces the idea of using admirable combinations to aim for the strongest horses, even if it means using less common breeding horses to achieve the desired outcome. This page is focused on horse breeding strategies for a horse racing simulation game, emphasizing that temperament is key to creating the strongest horses. It highlights the disadvantages of poor temperament in horses and its crucial role in achieving top performance. The page details a 4-generation breeding plan as an example, starting with a Sunday Silence cross, followed by Simboli Rudolph, and then Danzig. This strategy focuses on inbreeding and outbreeding combinations to optimize horse characteristics. The text also discusses several important gameplay factors. Horse weight. Lighter horses excel in burst speed, while heavier horses have better speed endurance. Growth type. Early maturing horses might reach their peak quickly, but may decline earlier. Aptitude. Stamina consumption is linked to a horse's speed, impacting performance in races of different distances. Health. Health parameters influence a horse's condition during races, affecting their performance consistency. The page gives strategic advice for breeding and managing horses in the game to produce the strongest possible contenders. This advanced strategy guide for a horse racing simulation, likely Derby Stallion, details techniques reliant on game resets to optimize breeding and racing,
specifically for winning the Breeders' Cup. Strategies include bookful avoidance by manipulating stallion availability via save/reload cycles, and the lease stallion and market stallion purchase method to influence stallion selection. The guide also covers name change, exploiting name alterations to influence horse parameters. Pasture check uses comments and foal comparison to assess stamina, and horse body weight fixation targets ideal weight for Breeders' Cup success. The pass check identifies peak horse potential via constant password output after resetting. Finally, data save and load provides backup ROM instructions for secure data management using the game console's system memory. This Sega Saturn Friends Seishun no Kagayaki strategy guide details a week-long approach to romancing the 8 female characters. The guide breaks down daily strategies, focusing on triggering specific events to unlock each girl's ending. July 30th and 31st emphasize choosing a target and adjusting actions accordingly, dictating whether to act alone or with others. August 1st details the Salvage Plan event, critical for later progress, which is activated by specific actions like talking to Makoto during tennis. August 2nd highlights the importance of conversation choices, particularly during the evening's liver test. August 3rd, a crucial day for romantic development, offers limited opportunities to improve affection. The guide underscores the importance of setting flags and making correct choices throughout the week. The next page appears to be a strategy guide focused on character relationships in a game, possibly a dating sim or adventure title. It highlights general important points applicable to all characters, such as the significance of dialogue choices, triggering as many event scenes as possible, and the importance of a test of courage event on August 2nd. The guide then breaks down specific strategies for 2 characters, Mizuho Kobayakawa and Midori Akiyama, detailing key events and dates from July 30th to August 3rd to progress their storylines. For Mizuho, it mentions avoiding her on July 30th, witnessing her arguing with Shin on July 31st, visiting her when she collapses during tennis on August 1st, emphasizing selfless actions to win her over, and an accident during a date on August 3rd. For Midori, it involves observing her arguing with Yosuke on July 31st, directly asking her about Yosuke, and hints at a significant change in Midori's feelings by August 3rd. This page focuses on dating guide information for what seems to be a romance simulation game. Starting with Makoto Canoe, it advises players to maximize contact time on July 31st. For dates, conversations should be approached cautiously to avoid unwanted male attention. By August 3rd, if the previous steps were followed, dates with Makoto should proceed smoothly, emphasizing enjoying shared interests like art and pottery. Moving to Shizuka Ogata, the guide details specific events. On July 31st, after a party, meet Shizuka at Eagle Nest. On August 2nd, during the liver test, it is advised to excuse yourself with her. Shizuka reveals her feminine side on August 3rd, where instead of a barbecue after a party like other characters, she shows off her cooking skills. Finally, for Kanako Saeki, the guide outlines event triggers, starting with a tennis court event on July 30th at night. By August 1st, an incident at the pension is highlighted. The guide notes, many conditions must be met to trigger these events. If Kanako runs away during a tennis event on August 2nd due to Fukami's disturbance, players should chase after her to establish a flag. By August 3rd, the guide suggests a date to an amusement park with Kanako, hinting at a new romantic development involving Ryunosuke. It is cautioned that if you don't pursue Kanako during the tennis incident, the flag will not be set. This strategy guide details how to romance 3 characters in a dating sim: Momoko Aoki, Miyuki Murata, and Ayu Wakabayashi. The guide, likely for a Sega Saturn game, emphasizes that Momoko, Natsuko, and Miyuki are not classmates, requiring strategic dating. To win Momoko, focus on shopping and dining with her, especially around August 1st and 2nd. Climax events start on August 4th. Miyuki's affection is earned through frequent meetings and conversations, particularly at the Kazaguruma Cafe between July 30th and August 2nd. Cafe dates are key. Ayu's route involves meeting her in the backyard on July 30th, acting together on July 31st, and securing a promise related to cow milking, with a riverbank event also occurring by August 3rd. The guide stresses the need for repeated interactions to succeed with both Miyuki and Ayu. This page is a character popularity ranking feature, celebrating Rainy, who is in first place with 100 votes. It seems to be a mini special feature, possibly within Dreamcast Magazine, judging by the title, Dreamcast Magazine editorial department. The page includes comments from fans from different regions of Japan regarding Reni, such as Tokyo, Hokkaido, Tochigi, Ibaraki, Osaka, Hyogo, Saga, and Kagoshima. The comments praise Reni's appearance and charm. The feature is titled, Reni's Runaway Ranking, 100 Votes Breakthrough Commemorative Special Feature, and mentions that this is a sudden ranking. It also suggests that even though the rainy season is approaching, readers can enjoy character illustrations on rainy days. The ranking itself shows the top 4 characters. First place, Reni with 100 votes. Second place, Maria with 52 votes. Third place, Iris with 43 votes. Fourth place, Orihime with 27 votes. These characters are all likely from the Sakura Wars series. As the text mentions, "Welcome to Little Imperial Theater," which is a phrase associated with the game. The page is essentially a fan-driven popularity contest within the magazine, highlighting the character Reni's popularity and showcasing fan feedback. This page is focused on a character popularity poll and fan submissions. It seems the most popular character pairing from fan postcards is Len and Iris from Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die. The page is encouraging more submissions featuring different character combinations and mentions other characters like Sakura, Kurai, Sumire, Kana, Maria, and Orihime. The Character Position Improvement Committee, WHO, is mentioned as a campaign to encourage more fan art submissions to boost character popularity. There is a Favorite Character Ranking Sudden Announcement section, displaying fan submissions from different regions of Japan, associating characters with locations and submission numbers. It also announces a new theme for illustration submissions called Sleeping Forest Princess Postcard, and suggests themes like rainy season, Tanabata, Bonodori, fireworks, etc. for future submissions. This page of Arcade Express Volume 50 introduces the arcade game Super Real Mahjong vs. It's highlighted as a 2-player competitive mahjong game, a first for the series, and a significant renewal of the Super Real Mahjong franchise. The game boasts popular characters from previous installments like PV, PVI, and PV2. The page details the one-player mode, where you initially face off against 3 PV characters who were once members of a mahjong club at Geka Gakuen. Despite graduating and facing club disbandment, their passion for mahjong continues, and they are recruiting new members. The game allows you to choose your initial opponent from characters A, B, or C, and promises that defeating them will unlock 6 more characters. Screenshots show character selection screens and actual gameplay, displaying the mahjong table and interface. The game is scheduled for release in late May in arcades and supports 2-player battles on Alex 64 hardware. Dreamcast Magazine promotes Super Real Mahjong vs. as the definitive entry, emphasizing versus play and popular character appearances. The game heavily features undressing scenes, promising enhanced animations, new lingerie designs, and refreshed backgrounds. The article highlights characters like Mari Kurihara and others. Though not playable opponents, Tamami and Yuri Ranjo appear and continue screens and match preparation. The 2-player versus mode features 3-round mahjong matches with potential for early victory based on score. The winner views an undressing scene of the opponent's chosen character. The game encourages players to fully enjoy these scenes, suggesting they are a core attraction. This page is a preview for the game Gogatsu no Taisen 3 Meijinsen, which translates to May Battle 3 Meijin Match. This is the 3rd entry in the Gogatsu Taisen series, and it's a shogi game known for its speedy and comfortable gameplay. The page highlights that it is developed by Seta, known for quality shogi games, and this arcade-supported series is now on its 3rd installment for home consoles, aiming to replicate the fast-paced thinking routines of arcade play. The game boasts 2 stage types, Academy and Metropolis, each with unique opponents. 6 cute female characters are introduced, categorized by stage, including characters like Sayaka Naruse, Miyuki Injoji, and Yumi Mikuriya. The article notes that the game is designed to be enjoyable, even for shogi beginners, with an easy mode where the opponent's thinking is weakened, but normal mode provides a standard level of challenge. It emphasizes the quick matches and the charm of the characters. The game was planned for release around May, and is a single-player shogi title for the Dreamcast, published by Alex 64. This page is all about Super World Stadium 1999, a baseball game for the Dreamcast. The article highlights that this is the latest installment in the popular World Stadium series by Namco, emphasizing that it's coming to arcades in 1999 with updated 1999 player data. It mentions features like tournament battles against the computer and customizable playstyles, including options for fully automatic to manual controls for pitching, batting, and fielding, catering to different skill levels. There are also new features unique to the arcade version. The screenshots showcase gameplay, player stats, and team selection screens, along with special teams like Namco All-Stars and Namco Gals being available. It also teases a potential dream matchup of Matsui, Hideki Matsui, versus Ichiro Suzuki, within the game. The developers at Namco express their hope that both baseball fans and newcomers will enjoy the game, including the possibility of matches like Matsui versus Valkyrie. This page is all about the making mode in King of Fighters R2 for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. It details how to customize characters using tech items to enhance their abilities. The page explains that tech items are obtained in different areas of the game and details how to level up these techs by winning battles, increasing their effectiveness. It also outlines the conditions for finding hidden techs and rarer techs, which are linked to clearing areas and difficulty settings. The article provides tables listing various tech items categorized as normal or hidden, and describes their in-game effects. These effects range from powering up standard and special moves to modifying character stats like HP, jump speed, and guard ability. The From SNK mentions that this Neo Geo Pocket Color version of King of Fighters R2 is being featured, as it links with the Dreamcast title King of Fighters Dream Match. It also hints that there are exclusive techs obtainable only from the Dreamcast version. The page encourages players to collect many techs to create their own unique characters for battles against friends. This page is a detailed breakdown of obtainable items, or teku, within different areas of a game, presented in table format. The tables list item names and their effects, categorized by location. These locations include areas like the Black Noah ship, Night Downtown, Port Area, Frontline Train, Grand Iron Road, Ancient Ruins, and Ice Grave Site. The items range from stat boosts like increased defense and jump height to special abilities and status effects. It appears to be a guide for players to understand where to find specific power-ups and techniques within the game's world. This page from Hello! Capcom DSH Volume 89 announces the grand opening of Plaza Capcom in Kichijoji on April 23rd, describing it as a spacious amusement spot with the latest Capcom games and prize machines. It mentions a loft area and encourages visitors to combine shopping with gaming. The page highlights the Street Fighter II Third Strike Great Fighting Summit Tournament, a weekly event held every Saturday until June 27th at Plaza Capcom Kichijoji to celebrate the near release of Street Fighter II Third Strike. The schedule lists character-specific tournaments from May 29th to June 27th. The winners will receive premium goods, and participants can also get prizes. The schedule lists dates and characters for each tournament day, including Dudley, Necro, Alex, Oro, Hugo, Makoto, Remy, Q, Sean, Elena, Ryu, Yun, Yang, Ken, Urian, Gil, Chun-Li, and Ibuki. The final tournament is on June 27th. There's a big push room section, which is calling for illustrations from readers, mentioning that they are seeing fewer new submissions. They are looking for illustrations with passion and specify postcard size or 3:2 ratio, and also accept CG submissions on floppy disks or MO disks. Finally, the page mentions the shop inside Plaza Capcom, stocking exclusive goods not available elsewhere, and the CFC Capcom Friend Club Fan Club. Events are held every Saturday with prizes like premium Capcom goods and game tournament participation. This page is a Capcom Condash article, specifically the fourth installment, focusing on Street Fighter II Third Strike. It's presented as an interview or discussion with the development team, particularly highlighting the process behind creating the new character, Makoto. The article discusses the concept of Makoto as a masculine girl character, and the direction they took with her design and moves. They mention the difficulty in balancing her, and the efforts made by the team to create a unique and challenging character. The team considered various character archetypes before settling on a karateka for Makoto. The article also touches upon the voice recording process for Makoto, involving a voice actress named Kimura-san, and the detailed work required to get her lines right, particularly her signature chest shout. The developers expressed their hope that players will enjoy using Makoto and discover the hidden depths in all the characters of Street Fighter II Third Strike. There's also a mention that the next character to be discussed will be him, suggesting the article series will continue with other characters in the game. The image also includes artwork of various Street Fighter characters and in-game screenshots from Street Fighter II Third Strike. This page for Crazy Taxi, titled Road of Crazy Volume 6, is part of the Sega AMR&D Department No. 3 official corner and is presented as a navigation guide. Characters Gus and Axel are featured as navigators providing gameplay tips. The page highlights the bus terminal area and gives advice on routes from the city area to the bus terminal. Axel suggests that taking either the left or right roads from the city area is generally faster than the central tunnel. Gus agrees, emphasizing that the bus terminal is a key location, with many customers heading into the city, advising players to pick up customers efficiently. They also discuss drift techniques at the bus terminal and strategies for taking opposite direction lanes to earn more tips, while warning about the risks. The page features screenshots illustrating gameplay around the bus terminal area and game tips within a game clinic section. This Crazy Taxi guide focuses on area-specific gameplay tips and spectator profiles. Advice is provided by Axel and Gus for navigating the fire station and tennis court areas. At the fire station, players are advised to pick up long-distance customers at the bus stop and be wary of aggressive drivers near the university. The tennis court area encourages crazy drift combos in the parking lot and highlights lane options at a fork in the road. Spectator profiles include a firefighter, a tourist, a businesswoman, a woman who loves the sea, and a tennis coach. The page also discusses multiple laps, passenger availability, and the R mode feature, which is designed for multiple laps. Gus encourages players to save passengers for later laps and to wait for the go signal. GM Magazine Issue 3, released May 28, explores How Far Can You Know Games? Gamers Subtext. The issue features an interview with MediaWorks' Masaki Tsukada on the history of game media. Special Feature 1 examines game characters as valuable commodities in the toy and merchandising industries, even suggesting their potential use by financial institutions. Special Feature 2 discusses the ideal of game development utopia, focusing on unique styles and creator support. The special section highlights the Sega Saturn's appeal, hints at a Silent Hill analysis, and suggests learning from game industry books. GM Recommend features various game suggestions, including Jake Hunter, Memories of the Past, Tenchu 2, Power Pocket, Game Boy Color, Remember My Heart, Dreamcast, and titles like Metal Slug, Aero Dancing, and Grand Theft Auto. This page focuses on the Dreamcast game Zombie Revenge. It's an official corner from Sega AMR&D Department No. 1 highlighting NAOMI titles. The page focuses on the final boss, Black Magician. It mentions that the boss's attributes change based on 3 cards chosen by the player. The game features attribute-based attacks like Fire, Thunder, and Death, each described with gameplay tips against the boss, ZED. There's also a highlighted, forbidden secret technique called Front Turn Cancel All Direction Attack, explaining a powerful move using button combinations to perform a full direction attack that ignores enemy defense, with a humorous warning about its potential exploitability. This page is an interview with Kenichiro Imaeda, director at Sega AM1R&D Department No. 1, and another director, Ando, discussing the development of Zombie Revenge. The interview is titled, Play It and the Depth Will Taste Like Squid, highlighting the game's depth and replayability. Initially, Zombie Revenge was planned as a school-based fighting game, but due to concerns about international reception of school uniforms and a desire to create a more human-focused action game, it evolved into a zombie action game. They wanted to create a game where players could control characters with detailed movements, setting it apart from other zombie games. The development team debated between analog and digital controls, ultimately opting for digital controls to maintain an arcade-like feel. They aimed for a game that was challenging but rewarding, with hidden elements to encourage replayability. The gameplay was influenced by Die Hard Arcade, but they wanted to differentiate it by slowing the game speed and making it more strategic. The interview touches upon difficulty balancing and the desire to create a game that is satisfying to master. The page features a screenshot of in-game action from Zombie Revenge and character design images, including a male character in a school uniform transforming into a demon, drawing inspiration from the manga Devilman. The headline emphasizes the initial concept of a school fighting game and asks, "Image is Devilman?" Quote. Other character designs in school uniforms are also shown. This page features interviews with Ishii Norio, a designer,
and Ando Hiroshi, a programmer from Sega AM1 R&D Department No. 1, discussing the development of games for the NAOMI arcade system. They highlight the benefits of NAOMI over the Model 3 hardware, especially regarding graphical capabilities, citing The House of the Dead 2 as an example. The main focus is on Zombie Revenge, which was initially titled Blood Bullet. The developers explain the change in title, the process of narrowing down the playable characters to 3, and their design philosophy centered around creating thrilling and exhilarating gameplay experiences, taking inspiration from Space Invaders. Screenshots of Zombie Revenge, Blood Bullet, and Space Invaders are included to illustrate the points discussed. The interview emphasizes their commitment to creating games with a sense of urgency and excitement for players. This page features a photograph of a young woman smiling and sitting in a black chair. Japanese text is overlaid on the image, which translates to, "Do you understand me? Who is actually pretending to be strong?" This page seems to be a personal feature or introduction, and not directly related to any specific Dreamcast game or advertisement. This page is a feature on Yoshi Ray, who is introduced with personal data, including her birthday as March 18, 1982, age 17, blood type A, and measurements. Her hobbies are shopping, music appreciation, and aromatherapy. She has appeared in TV dramas such as Kamen Tenshi Rosetta, Bishujo H, and Bishujo H2 and a CF for PS game Momotaro Densetsu by Hudson. She also has a video, Final Beauty Yoshi Ray, and a book Ray. In the interview, Yoshi Ray talks about her role in Kamen Tenshi Rosetta and Bishujo H, and her thoughts on acting. She mentions releasing a CD with the unit Nitro, with Yuka Imura, Yuri Ebihara, and Ami Taniguchi. She enjoys creating things with everyone, and expresses her love for singing and dancing. She also talks about her personality, liking straightforward people, and what makes her happy. She mentions being happy when told, "It's good just being together." The Check It section introduces the unit Nitro, consisting of Yoshi Ray, Yuka Imura, Yuri Ebihara, and Ami Taniguchi, formed for a limited time of 1 month from April 21st. They are releasing a CD titled Time Up on May 21st. The music is the theme song for the movie Taiho Shikauzo the Movie. The section mentions the producer is Kosuke Fujishima, known for You're Under Arrest, and character design for Sakura Wars. This page is about the Senkoku TRB fan book, which is scheduled for release in mid-June and priced at 1,800 yen. The page features an interview with developers discussing the game Senkoku TRB. The interview touches upon the character Dappa-san, who is described as someone difficult to understand, neither good nor bad, and involved in destructive activities. The conversation mentions that Dappa-san's motivations are still secret and will be revealed later, perhaps in future installments of the Senkoku TRB series. They discuss the setting of the game being within a broad scope, specifically around the Ryoyan Evil Star. The developers explain that the story is focused on the connection between Dappa-san and Gio-chan, highlighting the power of Gio-chan and her role as a home tutor who guides and teaches. The interview hints at the mysterious nature of Hutsuji Hakase and Nanore Hakase characters within the Senkoku TRB world and their connection to the overall narrative, suggesting they play a significant role, possibly as guest characters. The discussion also touches upon the gameplay, mentioning that it's not about directly helping the player but offering hints and guidance, acting as a benevolent presence in the game's world, and suggesting a focus on player interpretation and freedom. They also mention that the Senkoku TRB world and setting might seem unconventional but fit within the game's narrative, with the animal-like characters being a deliberate design choice to avoid humanizing them too much and keep a unique feel. Dreamcastrology offers weekly horoscopes, May 21 to 28, for all zodiac signs, providing predictions and advice for money, health, love, and work. Horoscopes are tailored for boys and girls. Key insights include: Aries should watch finances and health, Taurus enjoys financial stability and favorable love, Gemini faces declining money and work challenges, Cancer's finances and love are decreasing, Leo's money is falling and health is unstable, Virgo's money improves with a lively love life. Libra faces financial issues but excellent health with love focused on dates and work needs clear goals. Scorpio's money and health improve, work needs colleagues. Sagittarius has average money, lonely love, and basic work. Capricorn's money increases and work is reaching a stage of completion. Aquarius's money is okay, health might be stressful, love needs scheduling, and work is busy. Personalized advice based on luck, colors, items, and actions is offered.
Dreamcast Magazine is offering reader prizes. 20 winners can choose any Dreamcast game released before June 4, 1999. 10 winners will receive a Noel Pins plus Uchiwa set. Another 10 will receive With You Looking at You. 3 winners will receive a new generation Robot War Brave Saga card game starter and booster set. The next issue, dated June 11th, previews upcoming Dreamcast game information, including Soul Calibur, X, Maken X, and Death Crimson 2, plus many other titles like Shenmue, Blue Stinger, and more. The next issue will also include a Dynamite Cop 2 sticker and will be released on May 28th. This page is an advertisement for the 3D action shooting game Soko no Kihei Space Griffin, released in Japan in June 1999 for 5,800 yen. The game is presented as a dramatic story and action shooting title. The cast includes voice actors for characters like Jim, Mary, Concert, Lao Tien, Maria, Smiley, Oleg, Francis, and Sugawara. The advertisement also mentions Panther Software as the company behind the game and provides their address and website. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast RPG Climax Landers. The game is promoted as a breathtaking RPG with automatically generated random dungeons, ensuring excitement every time you play. The tagline highlights the game's nonsensical world, stating, "Because it's a nonsensical world, adventure is interesting." The game was set for release on July 15th and priced at 5,800 yen. The advertisement also features the visual memory unit, priced at 2,500 yen and described as having good reviews. A special campaign is mentioned, allowing players to download minigames to their visual memory unit. 3 minigames are highlighted: Tsuyudaku IV, a 3D dungeon real-time survival RPG, Zeko Editor, a pixel art editor, and Nan no Yogurt, an ecosystem observation game centered around yogurt. The page also includes Dreamcast Direct and Sega Enterprise's contact details at the bottom. This page is from a Dreamcast Magazine issue related to E3 in 1999.